Time.
Tiger Woods of live streams.
Yeah.
With much fanfare and jubilation, my friends, the Rob Brown Show returns to the radio.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Real. In fact, not just real good. You could argue maybe the best. Maybe we're doing the best. I don't know. I can't say for sure. All right. What I can say is good morning for the twice awarded and now thrice nominated best sports talk show in the state. The Rob Brown Show is back on your radio. Happy Monday, my dudes, my dudettes. It is wonderful to have you all here with us one more time again. I am Rob Brown. He is the great one, Lonzo. We have once again been nominated for Best Sports Talk Show in the state. Not just nominated, we're going to Columbia again because we're picking up, at the very least, the silver. At the very least, the silver.
It's the smaller crystal, but it's still crystal.
Is crystal nonetheless? Is it, if we end up in second, is it what Zoe and I want? Absolutely not.
No.
Is it what Zoe and I deserve? That's up for the people to decide. Okay? What I can tell you is that there will be yet another steamy night in Columbia, South Carolina, where the cast and crew of the Rob Brown radio program will be live as Rob and Lonzo have been once again nominated for Best Sports Talk Radio Show. Not just that, but we have been nominated for a show record. I don't know if it's a station record, Lonzo. You would know better than I, but a show record 3 South Carolina Broadcasters Association's Star Awards this year.
2 is well. I'm all right as far as stations go, for a show.
For a show.
For a show on this station. Yes,
that's a record.
Well, 2 is a record.
2's the record.
Yes.
So we have
smashed that
our own record with 3 nominations for this radio program this year. We'll see how it goes. All right. I would say sincerely, I wish everyone else in Columbia the best of luck. We will shake hands and high five and dap and fist pump appropriately with whoever wins or does not throughout the evening. This is one of those times that my humility will kick in, and I will simply say, I'm just honored to be here.
Dude, I already admitted this Saturday I cried a little because of the morning show thing. I spent 14 years on a show where we beat other shows in the ratings. We're number 1 a couple times, which was amazing because we were just on AM and we were still getting number 1. The Star Awards, if you look at them from a history standpoint, not really that old. So when I first started working here in this building 24 years ago, there were no Star Awards. So I just like the morning show thing got me. I'm not saying the sports show thing is a given because it's not.
It's not.
It's not. But the morning show thing was like, that's right. Wait. We are a morning show.
One of the 3 that we were nominated for. We were nominated for 3 this year. We were nominated for Best Sports Talk Show in the state. I was nominated for Sportscaster of the Year.
You keep saying we. I mean, you were nominated for one separately, which is
yeah, but
great.
I wouldn't even be in that position if it wasn't for the show.
I am also up for another one on WRD. So
both of us up for 3.
3 apiece. Yeah.
Collectively up for 4 if we lean on each other here because Lonzo makes my job possible.
Nah, and still be collectively 3.
No.
Yeah.
You got one for over there. I got one for Sportscaster. We throw those both in the pot. That's 4. Two together.
You're
each
right.
one
You're
separately.
Right. 65%, and then
You had me. You got a 33 and a 3% chance.
Yeah.
So we got the nomination this year for Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. Yes, by the way, my oblique is fine. I'm patting myself and ourselves collectively on the back right out of the gate. Thank you very much. Nominated for Best Sports Talk Radio
I have
Show.
interns for that. I don't really.
Tim, come in here and pat me on the back.
They'll give you a hard slap to the back.
Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year, Sports Broadcaster of the Year, which I am, this may shock you, up against Chris Miller. Shout out to my guy, Chris, because he was the one that tagged me in the congratulatory "See you in Columbia" tweet.
It was a nice post.
He's a
really
good
was.
dude, man. He's such a good guy. The Tom Brady of South Carolina local sports radio. And then
see, I think he's more like Goldberg.
Oh, that's actually better. That's actually better.
It fits the show better.
And then Lonzo and I somehow, and this is the one that, yes, I sent Zoe a separate text about this one, somehow placed into the finalist position for best morning personality / team. And that is not a sports category. That's an open to, and not only is it not only
everybody,
it is not just not a sports category, it is also not a radio category. It is anybody in the media that does a morning show can be nominated for and in on this. And Zoe and I were named finalists for best morning show personality / team in the AM.
So I was doing show prep Saturday morning. I was FaceTiming with my son when you texted me the first one. So I brought up the awards. I'm looking. You texted me the second one. He's like, "Are you all right?" Like, no, this is okay. And,
yeah.
And it was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, that one was unexpected, to be honest. Like I'm happy. We've been in this is the 4th year of the 4 years that I have been here. Nope, three award season years. I've been here 3 award season years. This will be the 4th. In the 3 award season years I've been here, Zoe and I have been twice nominated, twice won. Thrice nominated, twice won. We missed the finals 1 year, which was why the red sparkly jacket got hung in the window for a year. So thrice nominated, twice won, and trying to go 3 out of 4 this year. We'll let you know how it goes. All right. I'm just going to let you know that award ceremony is in Columbia in August. If we win
early August,
right out of the gate.
A little surprising, but good.
Yep. Early August. And I will go ahead and tell you that once Zoe and I win, we are, as the Boston Celtics did, we're going to fly down to Miami, spend a couple of nights in the clubs in Miami, and then we will come back and have the victory parade 2 days later.
I'm going to have to buy new shoes. I don't know if I got club shoes.
We'll get you some like alligator cowboy boots to rock down in Miami. Got to set you up good.
You didn't say it was a country bar.
It's not.
Okay.
It's just a vibe.
Okay.
We got to vibe you out. Here's my favorite part. All right. Forget the awards. Nobody cares about the trophies. Nobody cares about the trophies.
Okay.
What you all want to know.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Okay.
What you all want to know, of course, is what is the theme for this year's award night celebration? Last year, of course, it was Western. So Zoe and I went as Cowboys. My Cowboy just a slight bit more flamboyant than the great ones. The first year that we went, it was, I'm not going to lie, I don't even remember what the theme was. I actually don't think I knew that there was one. I just went with an outrageous jacket that year.
Well, here's the thing. We missed the theme that year. And we really missed the theme because it was the sea or something. So because some people some people showed up as pirates, and we could have rocked the pirate thing.
Could have, would have, capital W. Would have.
So disappointed
with a sword and everything.
I have that was the only year I've been there that I didn't go with the theme, and I've been there quite a few times, and I want to stand out, which is weird for me. I know. It's weird.
Yes, there's nothing Lonzo likes less than standing out.
Yeah, but this is standing out amongst your peers.
This year, the theme is, and it could not be better for this show.
No, for you.
For this show, for our show. This year's theme is garden party. Garden party. I repeat a third time, garden party.
Into a garden party.
And I will tell you that Rob Brown has already narrowed his selection down to 3 separate floral patterns. One of them, wildflowers over baby blue. Another, ferns and indoor plants over a hot pink. And the third, a 1970s retro floral pattern. My question is, can I talk Lonzo into wearing a matching suit with me? That's gonna be the question. Can I get him to rock a matching hot pink floral suit with me, because we're going big?
Here's the problem. It really comes down to money. It really does. Because if I buy a hot floral pink whatever, I'm probably wearing it once. And, I don't have wear it once kind of money.
I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm probably willing to buy that for you if you'll wear it. I'm
Wow.
probably, even if you're willing to wear it once, I'm probably
Dude,
willing to buy it for you.
You have no idea how much more it costs for someone of my size. I'm just saying. There's extra material costs in there, and they pump up the price. I think we could find something comparable, not necessarily matching, but we'll see.
I am, jokes aside, very appreciative of the efforts of the great one who did all of the work to put together our submission to get us into the mix again. I am exceptionally grateful to Mark Hendricks and Steve Sinacrapi and the folks that run the building for being willing to even submit us into the competition again.
See, that's the thing. You feel like, yeah, you're plugging along. You think you're doing a pretty good job, and you don't know if you're being noticed. I think that's part of it. And now we're going to be recognized
again
from the entire state.
Yep.
And as I pointed out to Bill Frady when I told him he was nominated, we are now going to also be in the annals of the SCBA once again.
That could have gone sideways.
Yeah. Yeah. And we had that conversation. So,
I mean, gone sideways.
Yeah, you want to be in the annals as much as you possibly can.
So, all that being said, thank you to, like I said, thank you to the great one for the work that goes into putting our submission in, because that's a process that is not like sit at the desk and knock it out over a cup of coffee. Like, that is some damn work that Lonzo put in. A, B, to Hendricks, to Sinacrapi, to everybody that wear the suits around here, metaphorically speaking, for being willing to even include us in the discussion there, and I mean this, most importantly, to you guys that keep listening and tweeting and texting and calling and participating in the show, because if you did not do that, we would not have a show to be nominated for Best Sports Talk Radio Show in the state of South Carolina. So I am very appreciative to those of y'all that continue to hang out, plug along every single morning with us here on the Fan Upstate, because, again, if you didn't, I'd be working at like a bank or something right now, and I don't want to do that.
Because you have done that, and you really enjoyed your time.
It was miserable.
I am. I'm actually taking my daughter for the first time this year, and she has never seen me nervous like I am before this. It's hard to describe, because I mean, you're honored to be there. That is not a lie. You're honored to be there, but you want to win
for sure.
And so you're the anticipation waiting because they call the merit award first. And you don't want that to be your name. Nope. And if it is, you're still grateful, but sure. you want to win, especially us. I mean, we're on a sports show. It's competition. It absolutely is. And you want to be the best.
I go to,
it's me. I'm all about the trophies.
I go to pick up hardware. Listen, if we go 3 for 3 merit, that means we brought home a collection of silver medals. Is it what you want? No, but you are on the world stage at that point, right? You're on the world stage. You are competing against the best of the best. And the recognition that you can't be the best every year is a reality. It does not mean we're not going over there looking to collect the big hardware. All right. We won the Astro Crag. We don't want your silver medal. All right.
I don't know what the heck an Astro Crag is, but I want it too.
Guts. Remember Nickelodeon Guts? Mike O'Malley.
I'm a little bit older, so
it was on when I was a kid.
Right.
Texas said, Rob, are y'all going to celebrate with a glizzy? Eric, you're damn right, Eric.
Really, Eric?
You're damn right.
Really?
Celebratory glizzies for the boys.
Maybe you need to walk across stage with one of those.
If they got glizzies
They
up in
might
that
have
bad boy.
They have those fancy hors
I'll
d'oeuvres.
tell you my
They
fear.
might have some. I've never. Do they have many? I don't know if I can't remember.
My fear is that they are going to, because I love a garden party. Okay, I do.
I've never been to one.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm looking forward to. The drinks at this event are going to be immaculate. We're going to have florals. We're going to have gins. All right. It's going to be an immaculate open bar. What I fear
He's not
is,
going to partake in any of it, though.
No, I'll be good by then. I'll be good by then.
Okay.
The open bar is going to be just chef's kiss. I'm worried about the food in that spot a little bit. Garden party food is usually like cucumbers with like
I will tell you this,
something on them.
and I'm pretty confident in this. The food has been the same every year, no matter what the theme.
Okay. Well.
So I think you're good. I don't think. I mean, there might be some little extras here and there, but I think the main meat of it, if you will be kind of the same stuff that they've had every year, because I believe it's catered by the hotel itself. I believe so, and that's out of their kitchen, and that's the kind of stuff they make, which is good stuff, by the way. It's not bad, but it's what they call heavy hors d'oeuvres. Because if you eat too many of them, you get heavy.
So, nominated for 3 this year. That is a show on the station record number of nominations in any given year.
It's a station record, too. It is.
We'll take it. So we'll see y'all in Columbia coming up in August. I genuinely look forward to that. All right. We got a day lined up for you today. We got to get into some golf. Scotty Scheffler is back in the W column after the Travelers Championship, an electric playoff with Tom Kite. NASCAR rain-shortened run in New Hampshire. We'll talk about that race a little bit.
That was for the powder that was thrown up.
Oh, this clowns. Talk about that, I guess. We got to talk some NFL football as the awards markets are jumping around like crazy. What does that tell us about the season? A reporter claims that another SEC coach told him, of course, no names attached, that the South Carolina football program is, and I quote, dead in the water.
Sources.
Hashtag sources. We'll address that. We got to get some Clemson ball in here. We'll hear some comments from Tom Brady. A very emotional story from Mr. October himself coming up later in the show. It is going to be a busy, busy, busy day. Jump on board. Let's have some fun. Rob Lonzo and you, a 3-time nominated sports talk radio show of the year, The Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Yes, Bill said he's just going to dress like he does when he's trimming his bonsai trees, because he does bonsai trees. You got to have your calm place.
You got to have your thing.
You do.
I like having things. I got things. I got a pepper bed. I have a garden.
There you go.
That thing you said you were going to do initially, though, I love that.
By the way,
I love that idea.
Still on the plate.
I love that idea.
Okay.
I really genuinely do.
All right.
MyNewLifeWeightLoss.com now. Hey, it's Rob Brown. I lead a very chaotic life. As those of you that listen to the show know, I am up very early in the morning. I am up very late at night watching sports. So I didn't think I was going to be able to find a weight loss plan that fit into my life. But New Life Weight Loss did that for me, and it has worked. I am down from 262.5 all the way down to under 225. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month.
I looked at the awards again, and I think we're good. Because I was thinking, the station who I thought would clean up, they are up for a bunch of awards, but not against us.
Yeah.
So.
A free home inspection from Mount Valley Foundation Services. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at fixmyfoundation.com.
I'm also, we ain't gonna need 2 tables this year.
You're doing what now?
We're not gonna need 2 tables
Oh.
this year. Now that I think about it, was the other side nominated for anything? I don't know that they were.
I don't think I saw him.
Yeah. When I say the other side, I mean that side.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I had a problem though Saturday morning when you texted me, and it hurt me later on. Is I couldn't go back to show prep because I was so excited I could not, and so I'm just like, yeah, we got this, and I didn't have my hook Saturday, so my reoccurring theme, which is a thing that I try to do. It might be a while before we get a new board, by the way. So,
Oh yeah. Are there
Yeah.
problems with the other one?
no, I'll tell you later. It's a supply and demand thing.
Fair. The Rob Brown Show continues. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo with you. Great to be here. Appreciate y'all joining us in the AM portion of the day. United States with a 2-0 win yesterday to open up Copa America. Got the dub over Bolivia last night, and glad that we did. Still have not done the one thing I would very much like us to do, which is find a true striker. I think you're still relying too much on Pulisic, but Pulisic did have a banger of a goal 3 minutes into that contest. Took the ball over on the left-hand side, crossed it back into the 18-yard box, working left to right, and then got a right-footed shot off that crossed across the face of goal. Bolivian keeper did get a fingertip on it, but not enough to elevate it over the bar, and Pulisic put us on the tally sheet. You would get a second one later on in the contest on a left to right from Balogun. That would make it 2-0. The Americans had a bunch of opportunities in the second half, including one off the foot of Ricardo Pepi that the goalkeeper got a hand on to. Pepi was making a run in the direction, but it came back at him so quickly he could not get on the end of it. It could have been 5-0. It could have been 1-0. It could have been a 0-0 draw. Either way, it was a 3-point victory, and the Americans jump out to the top of the table in Group A with that win, which is, again, it's what you're looking for. It's got to be where you go in there and you get the points against the teams that you've got to get the points about. That has to be what it is. They also go to the top with a +2 goal differential, now square with Uruguay, both teams with 3 points, both teams with a +2 differential. Panama and Bolivia will sit tied for second in the 4-team table out of Group C with 0 points and a -2 differential. Good start. Good start. It's what you wanted. Was it the best game we could have played? Absolutely not. Was it the worst match we could have played? Far from it. Far from it. There were some spots that are going to have to be cleaned up in this tournament. Passing out of the back has got to get better. It is, we put ourselves under fire from an outmanned Bolivian team too many times. Too many times. Poor passing, not poor, just mid passing out of the back. And that very mid passing out of the back created a couple of spots where Bolivia was able to take possession and then threaten with numbers. Fortunately, the back line of the defense was about as good as we could have asked it to have been, with the exception of the passing out of the backfield. But the front was fine, created a ton of opportunities. Like I said, that match could have ended up 5-0. There were plenty more scoring chances. Bolivian keeper made 3 or 4 world-class, world-quality saves overall that I think ended up keeping them in the mix longer than we would have liked. So, again, on one hand, good win. You'll take the 3 points every time. You'll take the +2 every time. And on top of that, you kept the goal differential level with Uruguay. And that's huge. It is big because today will be opening day for Group D. In Group D are Brazil, Colombia, Paraguay, and Costa Rica. You're not super worried about Costa Rica. The other 3 teams, Paraguay not as much. Brazil and Colombia certainly a pair of very good international teams. The winner of Group C gets the runner-up in Group D. Likely going to be Colombia, and I would rather get Colombia. I would take every opportunity for Brazil to get knocked out before we have to face them. I don't want to have to face Brazil until we have to face Brazil. So it's a pretty good start. You got to be pretty happy with what you saw yesterday out of the Americans. Again, a couple of things that can be cleaned up. Passing out of the back, the buildup has got to be better. I think we need more quality finishing. But again, that was my problem coming into this tournament. That's what I talked about last week on the show. If you don't find a 9, if you don't find that guy that is your finisher, that is going to be there, that is going to be able to create shots on goal, create deflections, be there for the follow-up when the ball, because there were probably 3 to 5 deflections last night. Probably 3 to 5 deflections last night that coulda, shoulda, woulda been goals. Pepe had one, I know. I think Pulisic had one that he spiked into the mitt of the keeper. There was another one, and I can't remember. It may have been Timothy Weah that had a shot from way out left that came off the rebound and across that he spiked into the ground, which is the right play when you have a high floating ball and the keeper is between you and the strings. The play is spike it into the ground and try to create some spin so that the keeper can't get a read on it. But unfortunately, he Gronk spiked it into the turf, so it bounced up over the bar. However you want to look at it, you're on top of the group after 1. You got the full 3 over Bolivia. You get Panama on Thursday. That's the other spot. You've got to win. And then basically, group winner is going to come down, assuming you get the win over Panama. Group winner is going to come down to the U.S. and Uruguay early next week. So it's a good start. It's a great start to the tournament. You got your 3 points. You got what you needed out of that particular contest. You are set up at the top of the table, and now you wait. Now you go out there. You finish business against Panama. You put a handful of balls into the back of the net against Panama. You keep that goal differential in the positive, preferably by a lot, and take that 3 points. Get yourself 6 under the assumption that Uruguay is going to take probably a similar result when they play Bolivia on, Thursday? When they play Bolivia on Thursday, and then set yourself up to give yourself a chance to go win this thing coming up on early next week on the final match day against Uruguay on the group stage. And then, like I said, what you hope, if that is the case, what you hope is that Brazil knocks off Colombia, that Brazil wins Group D, Colombia checks in second, you win Group C, you get Colombia. I feel a lot more confident about a win over Colombia than I would making sure you get by Brazil. Now, just like any other situation, any other tournament, I would also make the point that I'll take a PK opportunity against the world powerhouse like Brazil. I'll take a PK opportunity against the powerhouse like Brasilia, because in a PK situation, just about anybody can beat just about anybody. We have tested Brazilian goalkeeping before. We took them to a 1-1 draw in DC a week and a half ago. It was a phenomenal result. It was the result you needed in that spot to make sure that you have built up the Momo headed into this tourney. You did that. You brought that momentum into this tournament, and now you've given yourself a good opportunity to go win this group after one. Trey on the live stream says Bolivia's goalkeeper was working hard last night. Yeah, he was under assault, which is, again, it's what you want. And he was up to the task last night. Honestly, the fact that it was a 2-0 scoreline and not 4 or 5-0 is pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. The Bolivian back line and the Bolivian keeper specifically were very, very good in this contest. Very good in this contest. I don't think you are going to see quite as many quality performances out of a keeper like you did last night. But I would also make the point that performance last night was good enough for a draw. It was good enough for a draw against Brazil. Probably good enough to beat Colombia, good enough for a draw against Brazil. It was not good enough to beat Argentina. It was good enough for a draw with Chile. It was good enough for probably a win over anybody in Group B, which is Venezuela, Mexico, Ecuador, and Jamaica. It's not good enough for a guarantee over Uruguay. It's a draw level draw level finish. What I will say in this spot is this. Greg Berhalter did what I wanted this team to do last night. Greg Berhalter kept the press on. Greg Berhalter did not see us go up a goal or go up 2 goals and then park the bus. He did not say, everybody come back. Everybody build the shell around the goal. Let's all play backline defense and we'll spray and pray counters, right? Like, that's been a big problem in games like this over the years, has been you get a goal lead, you get a 2-goal lead. Berhalter calls everybody back to the box. You end up playing a kind of a park the bus strategy. Don't allow them to have anything that's not a shot from distance, not a crack from distance. And then anytime we end up with possession, we're going to send a winger on both sides. We're just going to kick it down there, and we're going to hope our athletes out-athlete their athletes. Last night, we didn't do that. Last night, once we got a lead, in fact, if anything, we turned up the press. And that's what I want. I trust the back line until they melt down. And they have not melted down the last 2 games. They melted down against Colombia in the 5-1L, the worst of the Berhalter era. And again, that's that same Colombian team we might see again in the beginning of the knockout round. But the back line melted in that game, and they have been good since then. And as long as they're going to continue to be good, then keep the press. Keep the high press. Keep everybody pushing forward. Keep everybody on the front foot. In hockey, we call it the forecheck. Keep everybody playing ahead. Keep everybody playing forward. And let's let our best athletes go out-athlete their best athletes. We did it yesterday. Please do it again on Thursday night when we take on Panama. All right, footy, soccer. Copa America. Good win. 3-0 +2 in the goal differential. It's maybe not the start you wanted, but it's a momentum building start. And at this point, it's what we needed. All right. We got a lot more of that. We're going to talk later on in the radio broadcast. We've got to get into the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Game 7. How many times have I told you? There is nothing better on planet Earth than an NHL Stanley Cup Game 7. And if that wasn't enough, the College World Series is going Game 3 tonight at the same time. We got not one, but 2 elimination games tonight with championships on the line. We'll break them all down on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Yes, Jesse. I actually saw that hat at the U.S. Open last weekend. Bryson was wearing that. Is his. So the Live Tour has teams They play team golf, which is weird. I don't like it. But they play team golf, and that is the logo for Bryson DeChambeau's team. It's pretty good. I may have just found it, Lonzo. Look at that. Look at that.
How's that any different than what? Yeah. How's that garden party though?
Garden party doesn't have to be floral. It's like light, springy, fun, whatever.
Right. That's a,
I don't hate that at all.
according to
Or
the,
fine,
the thing.
I'll
It needs
just
to
get
be like
that to
linen.
get it.
Well, I mean, that's just something you want because
Yes.
you want it. Yeah.
That's a great game day outfit, is what that is.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy happiness, but money did buy your boat, where you find peace fishing, unlike at home with 3 teenage daughters. Because fish never argue about who stole whose crop top, or get mad the other fish used up all the hot water. No, they just swim around, never embarrassed to be seen with you in public. So save money by bundling your boat or RV insurance with home or auto from Progressive. And buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurance not available in all states.
Attention talcum powder users. Have you had ovarian or gynecological cancer? A proposed $8 billion.
Have you seen the trailer for the second trailer for the Penguin?
Yes, I saw it last night. All in.
I mean, that's so much better than the first trailer and let you know this is straight up mob
Yep.
all the way through. And yeah,
I'm all in.
yeah.
Saw it last night. We sat down to watch House of the Dragon episode 2 last night, and it opened with that. And I was like, can we just watch that instead?
That was so well
Yeah.
done. The
It
trailer.
really was. What a putt fall. Oh,
When I was looking up garden party wear, there was a lady wearing a hat that was like this big.
big hats are a garden party staple.
I kind of want like a big old.
It's a garden party staple for the ladies.
So
I mean, I'm not telling you no.
So
If there's anybody that's going to support that decision, it's me.
that hat would fit my head though.
Hey, would you look at that? It's off season, and you know, off season is prime #sources season. It is a point in time where radio show hosts and bloggers and sports writers nationwide make up stories and then say they got it from #sources. Now, that's not to say that every journalist who says sources is lying. In fact, very frequently they're not.
Yeah, some sources might be real. I mean, are real.
As a former member of the, let's say, journalistic side of the media, specifically as one who covered local news as a television news reporter. Good evening and welcome to the Channel 3 10 o'clock news. I'm Rob Brown.
Did you ever have to cover hurricanes?
Oh yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
you're Jim Cantore? Were you?
Mhm. Yep. Stood on the beach. Now we never, when I was there, because I was only there 2 years as a TV reporter, never got a like full-fledged this hurricane, but the had a couple of tropical storms. I think one Cat 1, and they're like, "Hey Rob, why don't you and Daniel was my cameraman for a couple of years. Why don't you and Dan pop in the Subaru Forester that served as the news wagon, take it on down to the beach and get us some live shots? And the answer would be, because it's hurricaning outside, boss.
So did you get any sideways rain and debris?
No, like ordinarily they would. One of the things that you will see, and this is not true of everybody, but for most of the time with the local news, because especially with a place like where I'm from, Pensacola, we're catching a cane a year, right? Like we're catching a cane a year. We know the spots that are the least dangerous to go shoot lives from, and we'll just keep going back. So there was one spot on Okaloosa Island, which is where it's a long stretch of road between Destin and Fort Walton Beach. I grew up in Fort Walton Beach. Destin, obviously, is the area most of you guys would know about. Okaloosa Island is a long highway that runs on a barrier island between those two, and there's nothing on it. It's road, and then it's sand, and then it's water on both sides. There's nothing there. So we would go do our lives there because the likelihood of something flying up out of the ground and, clobbering you in the dome was very low. But yeah, they sent us out. The worst one of the TV news career was we had a freezing rain event one winter. It was like 23, 22 degrees outside. And you may not know this about Rob Brown. I despise the cold. Okay? I hate cold. I hate cold.
I bet I hate it more than you do, but still, it's one thing that we actually have in common.
Hate the cold. And so we had a freezing rain event overnight. I was working the afternoon or the night shift, which meant that I was in the studio at 5 p.m, and I was there until 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning till the morning shift reporter would come in. And if anything broke overnight, it was my job to go cover it, which was nice because very rarely did anything break that I had to leave the studio for. But when it did, you were in it. So they sent me out to the corner of Highway 98 and in the freezing rain to do live shots, which means that over the course of the 5 o'clock news, 6 o'clock news, 7 o'clock news, and 10 o'clock news, I had to sit on the corner in a Subaru Forester with nary but my cell phone to entertain me. And whenever the anchors would go, yeah, let's go back up to Rob, Dan and I had to get out of the car, go stand in the freezing rain, and give a live shot. It was so cold that night when we finished our last shot. We went back to the studio, and the studio was like a mini apartment for us. You kind of lived out of it overnight when you were working night shift. So we all had changes of clothes, and we all had food, and we all had bottles of water. Like if anything went down, we could bunk out of the news studio for a couple of days. It was a satellite branch. So we went back, and I was going to change out of my jeans that I had been reporting into a fresh pair of jeans. And it was so cold that even with the car ride back, by the time I got back, to take the jeans off, I didn't pull them off. I had to push them off because they were frozen solid. I could take said jeans, great one, lean them against the wall and stand them up, and they would stand up as if a ghost was wearing them because they were frozen solid. That was the night. I think I had 2.5 weeks left on my contract. That was the night that I went, nah, I'll go back to radio. I'm going back to radio.
Yeah, that was a normal thing for me the first half of my life. I'm so glad I don't have to worry about that anymore.
I'd move.
I did.
I would throw everything I own into a knapsack that I carry on the end of a stick, and I would walk the railroads to the south if that was a reality I had to deal with. All right, sports. Sources. That's where we started this left-hand turn of a segment. What are you going to do? South Carolina entering their 4th year with Shane Beamer as the head coach last year, 5-7, a little bit. I think it's fair to say it was a bit of a deflating season after the excitement of the 2022 final with the wins over Tennessee and Clemson, right? And you turn around last year, it feels like you give it all back. Well, Griffin McVeigh, who writes for On3 Sports.
No, that's not his name.
That's his name.
Okay.
Griffin McVay.
That's a really cool name. I mean,
That's a good name. It's a baseball name.
congrats, Griffin.
Griffin McVay said in an article on 3 Sports that, quote, one opposing coach even believes South Carolina is, quote, dead in the water with Shane Beamer. The coach claims Beamer was never ready to be the head coach after being hired from Oklahoma as the assistant head coach and tight ends coach. The coach said, quote, I think Shane Beamer is on the hot seat. He had some issues with the portal and NIL. I don't think Cocky is very happy right now. Apparently, according to Griffin McVay, Cocky is what the SEC coaches have nicknamed Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer's first head coaching job was at South Carolina. Beamer wasn't ready for that. You can tell by the way he handles his press conferences. He's had a few big wins, yes, but I see that program dead in the water. End quote. I find a couple of things interesting about this. So interesting, in fact, that I said I had to say I find it interesting 4 times in a row right there. Number one, he said in there that, quote, he's had some issues with the portal and NIL. Now, I have a little bit of contact with the Garnet Trust, not as much as a lot of folks do. I should probably work on that. Stream of consciousness radio here. But from what I can tell, it's fine. It's fine. It's good. It's on par with other collectives around the country.
I'm excited to see what Lenore Sellers can do. And I mean, I'm excited about the team this year.
The other thing he mentioned is that he had problems with the portal. South Carolina has more than 20 incoming transfer portal players this year. Now, that's not to say that every one of them is super highly touted, that every one of them had to pick between Georgia and South Carolina. There are a lot of folks that are good enough to be above D2 ball, but not necessarily getting a billion offers from Michigan and Georgia and Alabama, etc. But you got 20 plus coming in. I have a problem saying that this program is dead in the water. What I do not have a problem saying here, however, is that I do think it is a prove-it year for Shane Beamer, and I don't think that it is going against the grain. I do not think that you are a bad Gamecock if you say the same. I do not think that you are a bad Gamecock fan if you say the same. If you say, I'm looking for more. It is not a bad thing to say I am looking for something else. I am looking for stability. I am looking for reliability. I am looking for consistency. We have talked about the fact that, believe it or not, some people won't go for this. Alonzo's one of them. South Carolina has, on paper and statistically, one of the most difficult schedules in college football this year. And considering the SEC for now.
And next year. And the year after that. And the year after that. And the year till eternity.
Lonzo, whose schedule is more difficult? A team playing out of the NFC South this year or a team that is playing out of the AFC North this year?
You know who else has a really difficult schedule?
You'll notice he wouldn't pick a side.
Vanderbilt. You know who else has a really hard schedule? Tennessee. You know who else has a really hard schedule? Every SEC team.
Mm-hmm. And every one of those teams between the NFC South and the AFC North all play in the NFL. Who's got the tougher schedule division to division? The AFC North does. It's not a question mark. It's a statement.
You are singling South Carolina out and making it sound like they have a harder schedule than anybody else in the SEC.
Or did I say they have one of the hardest? Not the hardest. Not no one else has it.
I don't know. I only listen to every other word you say.
That checks out. Most people do. It's probably the right way to handle your business with me. I understand entirely. But the point is they have one of the most difficult schedules in college football. And it is important. And because of the fact that we have done away with divisions and because of the fact that the SEC has decided that they are going to go with some of the teams some year, repeat it the next year, the other teams the year after that, repeat it the next year, it is also going to be one of the most difficult schedules in the country next year as well, unless stuff goes haywire. And then maybe you'll get a little bit of respite in 2026. But if there is not consistency, if there is not reliability within this team this year, Shano might not be there in 2026 when the schedule hopefully throttles down a little bit.
What are the expectations for South Carolina?
I have asked Gamecock fans that repeatedly this offseason, and very few of them have had the courage to tell me.
What do you believe the expectations of the people in charge of someone's job are?
Bowl eligibility.
There you go.
6-6.
I mean,
now, here's the problem. It's been that way for 3 seasons so far, right? At some point, the expectations have to elevate above 6-6. At some point, making the Pinstripe Bowl ain't going to get it.
agreed. But I think historically, that's what it's been. There've been, at least in recent memory, Spurrier's like the only guy who had them relevant in a way where winning the East was a possibility and competing for the SEC championship.
Correct. But you don't hire a guy to match history. You hire a guy to make history, right? And I don't care what the job is.
That's absolutely right. But much like Brad Brownell in Clemson, you know what the normal is. And it seems like people are okay with the normal. I don't know why he's on the hot seat.
He's on the hot seat because he went 5-7.
I mean, that's not good.
He's on the hot seat in his third year,
It's
right?
not good.
Now, and let's add one more caveat to the discussion. I've brought this up before.
So if he had won one more last year and been bowl eligible, he wouldn't be on the hot seat.
I don't know that is true or not. I don't know.
You just said that you believe that bowl eligibility is
this year coming off a 5-7 team. I
it
think
would have been the same last year too, right?
Correct. It would have been the same record, but it also would have been the same record as a lot of other teams that are not happy with that position. And again, going into year 4, right? Because in the before days, in the yesteryears, when you looked at a team, Snoop's first pitch, we got to see Snoop's first pitch. Tell me it's at least. Hey, I'll take it. It's over the dish.
Yeah, that was a toss. It was not a throw.
50 Cent put it 90 feet to the
Yeah,
left.
because
He threw a strike over first base. That's
would
a good
you
first
would you
pitch.
rather see someone like they're tossing with their kid, tossing a ball with their kid, or someone trying to bring the heat?
I would rather see someone get it over the dish than launch it 9
Dude,
rows
when
into
you
the
threw out the
stands.
first pitch, if you threw a pitch like that, I'm leaving. I mean, I'm not hanging around for anything. I'm leaving because I'm
Right, but I'm a
embarrassed.
baseball player. I'm not a 56-year-old rapper who never played baseball.
Yeah, but he's
He
built,
got it over the dish.
he's built like a guy who can
You and
bring
I
it.
have seen some tremendously awful first pitches as of late. All right, back to the thought, because we're right up on the break. The thought for me with Shane Beamer, in the yesteryears, when a new coach would come in, the traditional thinking was you give the guy 3 seasons. You give him 3 seasons. That is long enough to filter out the majority of the last guy's team, the majority of the last guy's recruits, the majority of the last guy's selections, and get in your own guys. That is enough time to put your system of recruiting, your offensive and defensive schemes, to allow your assistant coaching selections to familiarize themselves, to build a culture. You got 3, and after 3, if you're 5-7, you're gone. You're done. You're cooked, unless that school just accepts mediocrity. And I do not think that South Carolina fans are in a position where they want to just sit back and go, well, at least we've got women's basketball, right? You want to be good. Here's the thing. I don't think that 3-year rule applies anymore. And I've said this in the past. I've said it about Deion Sanders. Deion did not get a grace period for me at Colorado. I expected results out of the gate. Why? Because Deion sent 31 guys out and brought 30-plus guys in. That's your team now. It is not a situation where I'm going to give you 3 or 4 years to cycle out a class full of recruits. It is now, especially if you do it like Deion. Shane's got 20-plus transfer portal players coming in. It's your team. It's your roster. I expect success and results. And my question is, I've asked it before. I've gotten very few answers. And I've asked both Clemson and South Carolina fans, what is your definition of success, so that we can put it on a marker and circle back at the end of the season? And I have gotten very little feedback. You say the word glizzy on the air, the text line lights up. I ask Gamecock fans, what's a record of success for you this year for Shane Beamer? And all of a sudden, I got crickets in my eardrums.
It's a wait and see mode. I mean, it just is. Transition of quarterbacks. There's just so many things that you have to wait and see about.
I think you've waited. You're going on year 4. It's not a rookie head coach. It's not a second-year head coach. I think you have waited. Now I'm ready to see. What do we want to see? We'll talk more about this later on in the show. Now, a gentleman that you have all been waiting for, Lonzo with the Sports Flash.
Nominated for 3 Star Awards. Just want to point that out. The College World Series will play a deciding Game 3 tonight after Tennessee and Texas A&M split the first 2 matchups this weekend. The Aggies took the opener 9-5 after putting up 7 runs in the first 3 innings. The Vols took Game 2 after trailing the entire game until the 7th inning when they had a couple of homers that gave them the lead. Tonight's winner will claim the national championship. The Atlanta Braves took a series win out of the Bronx with a 3-1 win over the Yankees yesterday. Jared Kelenic had another big day with a 2-out home run in the 3rd that gave Atlanta a lead they would not relinquish. Make sure you tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for our brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, a whole lot of fun, and it's all Wire to Wire.
Form of Viagra that works just the same, but it's 95% cheaper, and you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of...
I think the goal now in the SEC and the Big Ten is to be at least number 3.
Yeah.
If you know
Get
you can't win, can South Carolina be? Should that be their first goal, to try to be number 3?
Yeah, I think that's everybody's goal, is to get in.
Probably not Vanderbilt.
Georgia's.
Well, yeah.
But they don't count.
Take control of your listening experience with Rewind. Just a jaw-dropping moment? No worries. With Rewind, you can relive big moments from Rob Brown, Jim Rome, and
Wire with Cole Bryson and Diesel.
just hit Rewind with the Odyssey app on the Fan Upstate. Your morning jolt of sports. It's the Rob Brown Show.
Texas, I'm glad I'm not the only one who has an existential crisis in the sweets section, scolding myself for wanting sweets. Dude, let me tell you where my life is right now. Tell you what the struggle is for me right now. The struggle is Rob moved here at the heaviest.
So should I kill this?
Almost 280. Rob did some stuff. He
Nah.
got back down to like 215 at one point. Lonzo can attest I got thin for a while. Not like skinny, but like for a 6'3" dude who was carrying 280, I lost like legitimately 64.
Yeah, you did. I did that too. And then decided to go the other way on purpose, because I wanted to.
So then I have packed a few LBs back on. I'm back to hovering around 250, 255, which is like, that's my hangout weight. Like I'm hanging around at 255. Shut up, Lonzo. Shut up, Lonzo.
Don't hit snooze. Play the Rob Brown Show. Now morning 6 to 10 on the Fan.
The Fan Upstate.
Listen on the Odyssey app. Search the Fan Upstate.
Upstate. WORD Spartanburg.
What are you doing?
I'm going to make a joke to Joey B later. That's his last name.
Okay. Yeah, but I know that guy. I said, yeah, but I know that guy.
Do you really?
Yes.
Not a bad joke.
That's who I had to record.
I
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
I was actually going to ask if they're related because Joe's family's been in the
They might
area
be.
for a very long
It might
time.
be.
Carpool Mom texts the show. She said, "Good morning, Rob and Alonzo. Good luck. Hope you bring home the gold, if not for anything else, because you used the word thrice." Yeah, I did. Because we learned this weekend that Rob and Lonzo are now thrice nominated, twice awarded, maybe soon to be. Thrice nominated, twice awarded. Actually, now it's 4 nominated, thrice finalist, twice awarded, maybe thrice awarded. We'll find out in August. Best sports talk show in the state. We are also up, we learned this weekend, shockingly, if we're keeping it a buck here, for best morning show personality / team, which is an open award to any broadcast outlet with a morning show. Stunned by that one. However, if we go 3 for 3 with silver medals, the bragging point this year is station record for nominations for an individual show in one banquet. I'm pretty good with that. Let's go get a third though.
No, let's go get 3 golds, man.
I mean, I prefer
yeah,
it for the record, just so we're
well,
clear.
all right, we got a good shot at 2 of them.
We got a good shot for 2. All right.
You're not
Third one, we all know what's happening.
You're
all right?
you're next for Goldberg.
Yeah.
You're not taking him
Yeah,
out.
I am not Goldberg. I am who's next. Chris Miller is just the Bill Goldberg of South Carolina local sports radio. Being on the stage to shake that guy's hand and take home the little crystal is good enough for me. I want it. Don't get me wrong.
Think we can get a Goldberg chant started when
I'll do it either way.
Goes up there.
I'll do it either way. I will stay in that room because you go up, you get the trophy, and then they escort you to another room to have your picture made with the trophy. I will stay in that room to start a Goldberg chant. The thing is, I don't know if Chris is a wrestling guy.
That's the thing.
I don't care.
Know. We don't. Yeah, even if you're not, I mean, if you're of a certain age, you know who Bill Goldberg is. I am. Which would be the bigger shock for you? which winning which award would be the biggest shock? It would be
beating
that
Chris.
One. Yeah, it would be that.
Yeah,
one.
beating Chris. I'll be straight up with you. I don't know anything about the best morning show personality team. I don't know who we are up against. I don't know who else is in that mix. I don't know. Again, it's an open award. That is not a sports category. That's just an open category, and we got thrown into it. I don't know anything about it.
I think we're pretty entertaining. So, I mean,
Oh, we make ourselves laugh all the time, which is the goal. I got to see who we're up against here. But that's not that. Where did it go? I'll find it.
So this thing is August 3rd. Hopefully we come in August 5th and are like, yeah.
Oh no, it is a radio award.
Yeah, I was
radio morning show
you keep
broadcast
saying that. I
personality
was
team.
thinking it was
Yeah.
But it's across all genres.
Yes,
So
it is.
it's not just talk. It is music. It is everyone. Our brothers down the hall, Hawk and Tom, have been nominated the last few years. Tara from our brother station WRD has been nominated. So, and those guys have brought home trophies. So it's we got to uphold the tradition. We got to bring home some gold.
I will say this: it is not a radio award, but it is not a sports radio award. It's anybody. The station we are up against. Do you know who is a participant on the morning show we're up against?
Huh?
Chris Miller.
Oh, so right away you're
2
like,
for 4, 4, baby.
Yeah,
We're
but-
going 2 for
but
4.
No, come on, because I just pointed out a couple of people from down the hall
That's fair.
who have won the award
That's
several
fair.
times. So he's not Goldberg in that category.
We'll find out. We'll find out. All right. A lot of stuff we need to get to, a lot of stuff we need to talk about, but it is 7:00. Hang on a second. Wait for it. Dun, 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 dun. 5 in the morning, which means you are 55 minutes on the dot away from having to clock in and lock in at the office and get your wonderful 8-hour shift underway. And we both know how that's going to go. You got an 8-hour shift. 3 to 4 of those hours are going to be spent talking sports with your coworkers, right? And if you're going to talk sports with the coworkers, you got to know what's going on. And if you got to know what's going on, well, it's a good thing you're here because we do this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers say,
Oh, man, I don't know what's that.
America.
take their first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It is the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports with the coworkers today. If you want to know what's going on, it's why we do this. Item number 1. Copa America is underway, an international soccer tournament that features the best international teams from across the Americas, the North, the South, and the Central, as well as the Caribbean island countries. Group C is where we find the United States, along with Panama, Uruguay, and Bolivia. Last night, the United States men's national team started up competition against Bolivia and took home a 2-0 win over the Bolivians. That gives the Americans 3 points in the table and a +2 score differential. That's good news. Bad news? Same for Uruguay. They took Panama to a 2-0 defeat, meaning they also took home 3 points, and they also ended up +2 on the score sheet. So a pretty good spot to be in right now if you are the Americans, in a tie at the top of the table with a team that is, if it's not you, the second best team, or maybe the best team. We'll find out on Group C. 2-0 because of a pair of goals. One came from Christian Pulisic just 3 minutes into the contest. Pulisic had a look on the left-hand side, reversed field, took it up towards the top of the keeper's 18-yard box, and fired a leaning right footer across the face of the keeper. Got a finger on it, but not enough to stop it. It ended up going up in the top upright 90, and that put the Americans up 1-0. Then, just before halftime, Valerian Balogun ended up with a goal as well in the 44th minute. That would make it 2-0 to the Americans. The Americans had a number of opportunities in the second half, including one that was a ricochet off of Ricardo Pepi that went wide. I think Balogun had another one that went off to the right. Plenty of opportunities for the Americans. This could have ended up being a 5-0 game. It could have been a 1-0 game. Probably not much worse than that, because Pulisic was all over the field yesterday. That being said, there were some spots for which there was some concern. The buildup out of the back was not what I wanted. The passing out of the back was questionable. In fact, you ended up seeing 3 shots on goal from the Bolivians, and I believe all but one of them came from the fact that the backline passing for the Americans was pretty pedestrian overall. It was pretty pedestrian. That is going to have to get cleaned up. That is going to have to be better. Steven is in the stream chat. He said, what boat was that? The USMNT looked disconnected, and my U9 team could pass better than some of them. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Again, a lot of what we saw in the buildup from the back was not ideal. A lot of what we saw in the buildup from the back was not what you would have wanted to see in some of those spots. But I will say the midfield was on it. I will say in the attacking third, the Americans gave themselves a ton of opportunities. Unfortunately, did not finish as many of those opportunities as I would have liked, but they gave themselves the chances. Step one to finishing the chances is earning the chances, and the Americans did just that. 2-0 to the Americans over Bolivia, 3-1 Uruguay over Panama. Both teams with 3 points, both teams +2 in the differential. We will keep you up to date. The next game for the Americans will be Thursday evening in Atlanta, Georgia. If you got any interest in driving over for that one when they take on Panama. Let's go to item number 2. College World Series. Somebody's winning a national championship tonight, ladies and gentlemen. On Saturday, the Aggies of Texas A&M, the Colts, took a 9-5 win over number 1 ranked Tennessee. They were able to chase Chris Stamos, a very good pitcher. In fact, he was 3-0 in the College World Series coming into this one. They chased him after recording just 1 out, a couple of hits, a couple of runs surrendered, one of them being a dinger. Chased him out. Causey would come in, give him 3.2 for the Volunteers, but did surrender 6 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned. The Aggies, on the other hand, the bats were alive. They put up 2 in the first frame. Tennessee got 1 back in the second. Texas A&M added 5 more in the fifth. It was 7-2 at the conclusion of the third, and the Ags never looked back. Then we got to yesterday's game. Tennessee squared in the elimination phase, able to come back and get a 4-1 win. A&M jumped out to an early lead. They put 1 across the dish in the bottom of the first. The Volunteers would get 2 back in the 7th on a 2-run shot. They would get 2 more back in the 8th on another 2-run shot. That would make it 4-1 in favor of Tennessee. The Aggies had plenty of opportunities in the bottom of the 8th and the bottom of the 9th, but could not find a catch-up spot anywhere in there. So this evening at 7 p.m., the Aggies and the Vols, somebody is bringing a baseball national championship back to the Southeastern Conference. First pitch will go at 7 p.m. on ESPN. Tennessee is -275 on the money line. The over-under in this game set at 9.5. Tennessee, the better team. And tonight, you get the aces going for both teams. So this one should be a good one. Finally, let us get to item number 3. I went back and forth on what I was going to do for this. I have Scotty Scheffler. I've got some news out of the Carolina Panthers. There's a lot of ways we could have gone, but I have been trying my darndest to get you guys in for years now on NHL Stanley Cup playoff hockey. I have been trying my darndest for years now to get you guys in on the NHL Stanley Cup finals. And I have said again and again and again and again and again, and I will say it again now. I mean it when I tell you. There is nothing in sports more electric than an NHL Stanley Cup Game 7. I mean it. Nothing. It doesn't matter where it's played. You could play it on a pond in upstate New York. You could play it in a state-of-the-art arena in Canada. You could play it on home ice in Miami, Florida. It does not matter. A Game 7 of the Stanley Cup has more electricity in it than a nuclear reactor, my dudes and my dudettes. And tonight at 8 p.m., we get a Game 7. Not just do we get a Game 7, but we get the deciding game in what has been one of the weirdest series of any sport that I can recall watching in a very long time. Florida wins the first 3 games to the tune of a +7 goal differential. Everything going right. Sergei Bobrovsky was unbelievable in games 1, 2, and 3. And then in game 4, something happened. Edmonton's special teams came alive. Sergei Bobrovsky suddenly looked like a mere mortal. The names like Tkachuk for Florida have all but disappeared for 3 straight games. Somebody pointed out to me over the weekend that during the course of the regular season, there were 3 spots where Edmonton went on a 3-game losing streak. In all 3 spots, Edmonton turned around after 3 L's and won either 4 or 5 consecutively. Should that trend hold up, Edmonton will be taking the Stanley Cup back to Canada this evening. However, on the flip side, the Florida Panthers are at home. Sunrise, Florida is all in on hockey. It is going to be loud. It is going to be chaotic. If you have not watched a hockey game in your life, if you have not been watching these Stanley Cup finals, if you have never watched any Stanley Cup finals, I implore you, it is Monday. It is day 1 of the week. You got to go back to work tomorrow. You can't go bananas tonight, right? You can't head out to the watering hole and tie one on. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to sit down on the couch with a nice cold frosty glass of your beverage of choice. Don't care what it is. Put your little bourbon over ice. Get you a cold Canadian beer to celebrate. Maybe just hit yourself with the old Diet Dr. Pepper. Whatever the move is, I want you to put one of those over ice in a nice tall glass. I want you to sit on the couch, and I want you to dial in tonight. There's nothing else going on, all right? There's no football tonight. There's no NBA finals tonight. College World Series will be over and decided by the time we get to the 3rd period of this contest this evening. So what I want you to do as homework for the Rob Brown Show, I want you to sit down. I want you to watch this game, and I want you to call or text me tomorrow and tell me you did not enjoy it. I want you to call or text the show tomorrow if you truly undertake the challenge of sitting down and watching a Game 7. I dare you to call or text the radio program tomorrow morning, metaphorically look me in the face, and tell me you don't enjoy the bleep out of it tonight, because there is nothing more electric than a Stanley Cup Game 7, especially in a series as wild as this one. Both teams -110 on the money line. Vegas says this is a pick'em contest. Let's go. To break. Back after this. Robin Lonzo on the Fan Upstate.
Goodbye.
All right, guys, quick reading. We're back. Y'all stay right there. We'll talk some football. Don't go anywhere. I respect that, Steven. I do. Sincere question. Where does the College World Series rank for you guys? Like on the list of sports priorities right now. Where does this event rank? Because I will tell you, I look forward to not just the College World Series, the entire college baseball postseason. I look forward to it every year. It is my favorite postseason in sports. I think the structure of the College World Series is the best playoffs in American sports. Second best is the MLS. That's another discussion for another day. But the College World Series, you go with the regionals. The best teams get to host. That is their prize. Teams that get in still have a very good chance to move out of that regional because of the round robin format of it. I adore the regionals. The super regionals are great. If you perform in your regular season and get out of your regional, you are awarded with the ability to host a super regional. But if you are not one of the best teams in the regular season, escape the regional, whether you hosted it or not, there's a better than average chance that you could still end up hosting a super regional as a reward, right? We've seen that happen all the time. There are teams that get white hot, like Florida did, coming to Clemson and knocking them out of their own hosted super regional to move on to Omaha. And then once you get to Omaha with the double elimination format, you can have a bad game and still get out. Now, didn't happen for either of the brackets, as both Tennessee and Texas A&M were able to move out. Pretty chalky there. But with the way that the actual College World Series is structured, double elimination out of the gate, and then a double elimination College World Series finals, it's the best postseason format in all of sport, or all of American sport, I guess. I adore this event. We talked about it Saturday on Bet for the Cycle. Former Major League player and former UCLA Bruin great Cody Decker, my co-host, does not watch college baseball. That kind of blew my mind a little bit. He was a college baseball player at a very prestigious university. He was a college baseball player. And yet does not like college baseball. He said it is a sport inhabited primarily by fans of the teams that are actually competitive. He said it is a sport that you can watch the fan base, the attendance diminish as teams are bad. And I don't necessarily know that he's wrong. I'm interested in seeing how, for instance, South Carolina plays out next year with Paul Mainieri coming on board. By the way, phenomenal interview with Cole Bryson and Diesel. They snagged Paul Mainieri. Great talk, great conversation. Really enjoyed listening to it. With the NFL, my team gets bounced, I'm still watching. And I'm watching every game I can get my hands on. College football, my team's out of the running, I'm still watching. And I'm watching every game I can get my hands on. This is why I've said I enjoy college bowl season, right? Because a lot of, if not the majority of the guys playing in those games are playing because they love football. The guys who are next year in the NFL guys might bounce, but the majority of these guys love football, and I love watching them play football. And I think I've asked this every year, and I will continue to do so. I am curious as to y'all's level of engagement with the College World Series. Tonight is an elimination game. Not an elimination game. It is a national championship game. Somebody is winning a trophy tonight. It is game 3 in a best of 3. And you've got a couple of aces on the bump against a couple of teams whose bats can erupt at any given second. This is a spot that I mean it. This is a spot that I don't think sports is better. And by the way, what a night we got tonight in sports, right? We've got Euro in the daytime, Copa in the nighttime, 2 games in both. We have got an elimination game at the College World Series. We have got an elimination game in the Stanley Cup, both game 7s. Well, a game 3 and a game 7, but you get it. Like, what a night we have lined up in sports, and a really good MLB slate this evening. But when we have all of that going on, does college baseball register to you guys? And I bring it up because, as I have said a number of times, aside from college baseball being just a great postseason, I kind of thought the Carolinas were baseball territory. You got North Carolina, Duke, NC State, Wake up in the north. You've got South Carolina. You've got Clemson. You've got Wofford. You've got some great ECU, Coastal in the regionals and supers this year. You have got a very good lineup of college baseball teams across the Carolinas, to the point that I have been working under the assumption the last 4 years running now, I guess 3. We didn't have a College World Series COVID year. The last 3 years running now, I've been working under the assumption that this was an area that would follow college baseball even if and or after Clemson / South Carolina got bounced from the postseason tournament. I had a conversation yesterday with Cole Bryson about it because Cole's a big College World Series guy as well. We watched the end of game 2. Cole came and watched football with me last night, soccer with me last night. Not a soccer guy. Got him into it. He dug it. It was good.
Wow.
I know.
Co-parting.
Co-parting.
You out there co-parting.
My co-part.
Look at you.
We talked about it yesterday. And I asked him, I said, hey, let me ask you a question. In the afternoons, when you are bringing up the College World Series, what, if any, reaction do you get? Are you getting a good reaction? Are you getting a moot reaction? Are you getting a cold reaction? Like, do you get anything at all? And he said, honestly, not much of one. Not much of one. You know? And listen, Rob's not dumb. I mean, he is, but when it comes to radio, he's not. I understand that a large, if not majority of our audience would rather sit here and speculate on what this college football season is going to turn out to be. I understand the majority of you, even in June, would probably rather talk about your college football program in September, October, November than you would talk about college baseball when your team's not in the mix. Yes, I think if South Carolina or Clemson were playing for a natty tonight, it would be the dominant conversation on the show today. But I had worked under the assumption that the Carolinas were a baseball area, a college baseball area by and large, especially in the upstate close to Atlanta, but a baseball area when you look at the Carolinas as a whole, tilted to the college game. I really did work under the assumption that this was going to be something that people cared about. It is a phenomenal structure. It has a ton of drama. There have been multiple walk-off games. Hell, 3 of the first 4 games in Omaha were bottom of the ninth, come from behind walk-off games. That is baseball at its finest. I assume this was going to be a big-time discussion that we had a lot of emphasis and focus on, but here we are lining it up to hand somebody a national championship trophy this evening, and it gets very little. It gets very little. I brought it back up in the first hour. Nobody talked about it. It was in the water cooler cheat sheet, not a text, no project. Here's the thing. We talk about football, and I'll bring up random games, right? Let's bring up Ohio State, Penn State.
How is that random?
Well,
that's
for
relevant.
area.
It's relevant on the national scale, though. I mean, Bring up like Montana versus Colorado or something.
I'll bring up anything. I'll bring up any college football game.
I feel slighted. So, I mean, that you had.
That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, and you didn't say the.
I will bring up any random game, including one with the Ohio State Horse Chestnuts. And we get a text. Somebody's got a text. Oh, I'm picking this, or this is what's going to happen, or they don't this. The Water Chestnuts don't understand the SEC. I get a text, I get a tweet, I get something. We went through 3 weeks of college baseball postseason and got very little. Am I the only one surprised by that?
Well, is our team in? None of our teams are in, so people don't care as much. And even with them in, I'm not sure about the level of fandom as far as that goes.
I guess that's what I'm kind of asking here, because South Carolina doesn't make, or Clemson doesn't make March. Obviously, it didn't happen this past postseason, but if South Carolina, Clemson don't make the postseason, there's still people that want to talk March Madness, college basketball postseason. If South Carolina and Clemson don't make the playoffs, there's still people who want to talk about the college football playoffs. The Atlanta Braves don't make the Major League Baseball postseason. There's still people who have thoughts on the MLB postseason. Not college baseball.
But not as much. Baseball is it's fallen off as far as being, is it even part of the top 3 anymore?
Statistically speaking, yes. Ratings wise, yes, it still catches ratings. Now, obviously, that's more specifically Major League Baseball with the postseason than it is the regular season. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, the Braves-Yankees series, I promise you, was going to be in the multi-millions in terms of audience, maybe like 2.5, 3. But I promise you, more people were watching that than Olympic trials, than are watching Copa America.
Still a lot of people counting down the days till football.
Oh, for sure.
And don't be dissing the Olympic trials. I've been watching that almost every night.
I agree. I'm not dissing him. What I'm saying is more people are watching Major League Baseball than the Olympic trials. Maybe not the
pole
Olympics.
vaulting 20 feet, dude. 20 feet.
You're acting as if I am insulting the track and field aces. I'm not. I'm just saying baseball's still in the mix. I just thought college baseball would have a lot more impact as a topic, but maybe I'm just wrong about that. What are your thoughts on it? Have you followed? Do you follow? Do you care? When we come back here in just a minute, I asked South Carolina fans their definition of success for the year. We got a couple of answers. I'll read them for you and respond when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
I'm watching Raw. See if the White Six show back up.
Give me 45 seconds, guys. I'll be right back. Stay right there. All right, thanks.
Join us at Trailblazer Park in Travelers Rest on Saturday, July 20th, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the second annual LEO Santa Car Show. Preferred Home Services, Healthy Foods South Carolina, Greenville Heritage Federal Credit Union, and Upstate First Responders have partnered to collect toys for children. Detroit Light
Because getting feedback because of StreamYard. We're trying to figure it out, but I don't know. this kind of makes sense. I think. I don't know.
Where were you trying to do Cartwell from? Your
From my laptop. Yeah. Remember, you had it. You put it on the board so that dock is on the board. But so I have to be muted because I'm not the
You guys
one.
are muted for StreamYard.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But you just do that in StreamYard.
Right. But if I unmute my computer, get in the loop. And the computer has to be unmuted in order to play Cartwall. So I don't know. Finally, I was like, dude, let's just not worry about it. He's like, I got to figure it out. And then we tried it, and I didn't think it was. I'm trying to think about it, but I just don't know.
Yeah. Let's talk more about it when you're not in the middle of the show.
Okay.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Chris. Sorry, that was rude of me.
That's okay. You're fine. You're doing radio things.
Barely. The Rob Brown Show continues. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo with you. I did this for Clemson a couple of weeks ago. I'll do it for South Carolina as well. Define success for me this season on the gridiron. Define success. And I've the reason I did it for Clemson, and I think it is fair to say the reason that I am doing it for South Carolina as well, albeit the two subjects at hand here come from different backgrounds. The reason I did it for Clemson is because, as I have said, now more than ever, the Dabo Swinney philosophy is in play, not using the portal, right? And that was magnified by the fact, I'm sure you have heard this before, magnified by the fact that there are 3 schools that did not accept a single incoming transfer. 2 of them were military academies. The third was Clemson. The Dabo Swinney philosophy of coaching is in play more this year than it has ever been for Clemson. And because of that, I think it is important for Clemson fans to identify the definition of what they would call a successful season this year. And I say that because I have to think you've got to have one of 2 thoughts. Either A, Dabo has done enough for this school that I don't care that he ever wins another natty. He's already gotten us a couple, and he put us into the national conversation, so he's just got rights lifetime to do what he wants. Or the second school of thought, which is, yeah, I don't want to go back to the pre-days. I don't want to go back to the before times. I want to stay on top. I want to stay relevant. And so if you are in that second group with Clemson, this is the year, now that we are multiple seasons into the NIL era, now that we are multiple seasons into the transfer portal area, where Dabo's philosophy will have a massive impact. You have either by now figured it out, or we have figured out that you will not figure it out. And I think it is abundantly fair to say the results of this year are a direct impact on the decision-making of the head coach. So Clemson fans, I have asked to identify their definition of success so that at the end of the season, we can circle back around and say, Dabo met or did not meet your definition of success. I think it's important for South Carolina to do the same thing, albeit for different reasons. Shane has not done anything that make him a historic figure on the campus. If Dabo quits today, he is a Clemson legend forever. That is not a question, that's a statement.
Beamer's videos might be historic. I know it's not on the field, but you said he hasn't done anything no one has ever done that sort of thing.
I don't
before
disagree,
there.
but I also don't think 10 years from now we're going to look back and go, yeah. Remember when they kept going 5-7, but Shane was funny on the internet? Right? Like, that's not historic. Is it a footnote? Sure. Is the culture building the legacy of Shane Beamer right now? Absolutely. The culture building is his legacy. But would you rather have a 5-7 team that's got great culture? Or would you rather blow the thing up and go compete for conference championships? I think I know the answer.
I don't know Kentucky's coach whose name I can't remember. You tell me.
That would be Stoops the Lesser.
Okay. All right. Because that's who you sound like right
Not
now.
Big Game Bob. It's Mark Stoops. Again, are the videos fun?
I legitimately couldn't remember his name. So
Are the videos fun? Yes, they are. Are they engaging? Yes, they are. Are they entertaining? Yes, they are. But again, are we out here trying to build a TikTok following or a football foundation? Right? I would be fine. I would be fine not knowing what my head coach sounded like if we were turning in 10-2s and 11-1s.
If it brings you in one or two really good recruits because they're on TikTok and they see that and go, that looks like fun. I was trying to decide where to go and I want to go there. Yeah.
Again, I don't disagree. But that is the thing. Has it done that? I can't say yes, it has, right? So the reason that I think it is important for Gamecock fans this year to tamp down what it is that they will use to define success, I think it's important to do this year. And I think it's important to do this year because, as I mentioned with Dabo, we are now well into the NIL in the portal era. We are now going into our 4th season under Shane Beamer. It's been enough time by, I think, any metric that you elect to use. It has been enough time at this point that I think it is fair to say if this team does not achieve success, this year, then as much as Lonzo and I both love the guy, and we do, friend of the show, Shane Beamer, there's going to come a point where I go, I like him. He's entertaining. He's a super nice guy. He has been good to us on this station and on this show and on these airwaves, and that's all well and good. But at some point, you got to win, right? Like at some point, you got to win. I know a lot of great dudes in radio who have been fired from stations not because they weren't stellar people, but because they didn't do good shows or they didn't get good ratings or they didn't bring in money or whatever. Couldn't, whatever. At some point, and especially now with NIL and the portal being what it is, at some point, it is important that you look at your program through the lens of a business. And at some point, I got to have a return on investment, right? If you went and you invested money into a company, every year you went and invested money, and every year at the end of the year, you called up that company and went, all right, my name is Lonzo, and I've invested $6 million into your company. What did I make in return? And every year for 6 or 7 years, they go, yeah, sorry, nothing this year. Nothing this year. But you donate you invest another $1 million into our team. Company that next year, we got a great culture over here. We got a great culture, right? Got a great culture. I can't tell you how many startups there have been in the age of entrepreneurship. How many startups there have been that have built a wonderful office culture. They got a ping pong table and the espresso machine is free. Espresso, not espresso.
There's a difference?
Yes. Yes. The word is espresso.
Okay.
Espresso is not a thing.
I meant to drink. There might be.
No, there's not.
Neither one of us drink coffee. Are you sure?
Yes. It is espresso. The espresso machine is free. The vending machines are free.
Okay, anyway.
There's a weekly outing to the local axe throwing bar, right? Like wonderful culture. But if you're sitting there 3 or 4 or 5 years into the startup and you have not gotten any sort of returns, I'm not investing anymore. And I feel like that's kind of where we are dangerously close to getting with South Carolina. James just said exactly where I was going to go. You're at the point now where you can't blame Muschamp anymore, right?
Well, actually, you can.
No, you can't.
You can blame
you
him.
can, but it's a
You
bad
can
defense.
blame him 30 years from now. It was that bland. It was so bad.
I don't disagree. However, if you do, it's a bad defense. It is a bad look to blame a guy who has been gone since 4 seasons ago. It's just it's a bad look, right? So for me with the Gamecocks on the football field this year, it is important that Gamecock fans, to me, define what a successful season is going to be and define what a successful season is going to be so that at the end of this year, we can look down that roster of predictions or demands and objectively say, yes or no. You got to go. You don't got to go. I had 7 years ago, 10 years ago, many years ago. When I was a personnel director, terrifying, I know, of a station I used to work at.
Wait,
I know.
Wait, what? We've been working together for a while. I think this is the first I've heard that
No, it's not.
you were
At my
you
old
were-
station.
You were a manager.
I was a manager.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. And at my old station, we had, in addition to our midday lineup, local show. We brought a guy in and he worked there for, I think, a year. And after a year, we said, all right, you've been here a year.
Is he in Detroit now?
No, he's not.
Okay, I was just curious.
After it was same station, but different dude. After a year, we said, all right, here's our expectations for you. We expect you to get to X, Y, and Z. We expect you to have this number. We expect you to do this, to do that, whatever. And we got after a year to a point where he didn't meet those expectations. And we were able to look back and go, here's the document. Here's what we wanted you to do. You signed it saying you agreed. You didn't do those things. We got to let you go. And we took a little flack because, and this is an awful situation, but his I think his dad had passed away like 3-4 weeks before that. And we had to let him go because he didn't meet the expectations that we had set for him. And they weren't outrageous, but we had him let him go. And he went out there, full blast in the station, in the community about how could you fire me after my dad passed away, whatever. And, it was a bad look. I get it. But at the flip side, on the flip side, those agreements were made a year ago, man. Like, these aren't new. This isn't something we hit you the day after that tragic event. And you signed a paper that said, by X date, I will do this, this, and this. You didn't do any of those things. Yeah, it stinks, right? I kind of am to that point with Shane O'Mac here. I am kind of to the point that I love the guy. I love the videos. I love the sunglasses. I love the dancing. I love that we can get him on the radio show. We probably need to go ahead and line that up again. I love everything.
Not if he's listening right now.
Yeah, right. I don't think Shane would say any of this is unfair. It's 3 years in now. At some point, a return on investment is demanded by the people who invest. And to stick with the business metaphor, fans are the investors. They are. The boosters are the investors. The fans who buy tickets are the investors. The fans who stay at home, the ones who buy merch. The
Is
kids
there an
who go to school
outcry?
there.
I don't hear an outcry saying we need to fire Shane Beamer now. Is there not? Where's the outcry? There was with Muschamp. There absolutely was. I don't hear one with Beamer.
I don't think.
I don't see one. Where is it?
I don't think that there is one.
Because that's where it either comes from up top or it comes from the fans saying, that's it. I don't want any more. So what are the fans' expectations? Is it what they're getting now?
That's literally the question of the segment.
Are they cautiously optimistic about this upcoming season and just waiting? That's what it's waiting.
So that we're clear. I'm not pushing for Shane to be fired. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is, I think it is important for Carolina fans to set their expectations now, to set their definition of success now, so that at the end of the year, like we did with that guy that that worked with me, at the end of the year, we can circle back around and say, okay, he met the objectives defined as successful, so we're all good. Or at the end of the year, we can all look back and go, he didn't meet any of the objectives, and now we need to start talking. Because you're right, the push either comes from the top or the bottom, never the middle. I don't disagree. Question mark is, how many years do you wait until you start that push? Because every year that you leave a failed coach in, it's 1 year further away from success that you get. And as much as I've heard, well, you just can't succeed at South Carolina. Yeah, they used to say that about Clemson too.
When your expectations are the middle, he's meeting that.
But are they? Are we good with that? If your definition of success is 6-6 in a bowl game, then great, congratulations. But I can't imagine Gamecock fans don't have higher desire for their football program.
Being desirous and also being realistic are two different things.
Being realistic and wanting more do not have to be two different things. Texter said, my expectation as a Gamecock fan is that we're going to be left one more, yet again, what I want is a big upgrade to the offensive line so that we can see if his offense is any good, not just a player, but the scheme as well. Yeah, again, that was the criticism from last year, right? Rattler and XL carried you for a couple of seasons, and when Juice went down, the offense went down with it. The talent wasn't there on the offensive line to do anything with it last year. Texter said, Beamer is the new Butch Jones, champion of life. That's a great reference, Tyler B. Appreciate that text. Thank you very much. That's what I'm afraid of. That's what I'm afraid of, that you're entering Butch Jones territory, and you don't want to do that. Texter said, Rob, I'm a Clemson grad. If the Gamecock fans don't set proper expectations, that is not my problem. I didn't say that it was. This segment's not about you.
Managed to get your team in there, though, didn't you?
So there you go. We got a bunch more in the chat as well. We will continue this discussion later on in the radio broadcast. I do want to circle back around to it. We got some baseball, we got some golf, we got some football, and more. Before we get to any of those things, though, sit back, relax, light a candle, and enjoy the next 67 seconds of audio pleasure that is Lonzo Sports Flash.
Now I'm worried. You think I'm just gaseous, and they need a light to cover that. Oh, he's going to the bathroom now. He'll smell real gas. The Atlanta Braves took a series win out of the Bronx with a 3-1 win over the Yankees yesterday. Jerry Kelenic had another big day with a two-out home run in the third that gave Atlanta a lead. They would not relinquish. Max Fried went 6 strong innings, giving up 6 hits, but only 1 run, while striking out 4. Scotty Scheffler is back in the win column after a playoff defeat of Tom Kim at the Travelers Championship in Connecticut. Scheffler turned in a pair of 64s and a pair of 65s, including Sunday, and averaged just 1 bogey per day over the tournament. Scheffler led the field with a driving distance of over 315 yards. Make sure you tune in this afternoon, 3 to 7 p.m. for Wire to Wire, Cole Bryson and Diesel, Wire to Wire. All right, now I'm just like picturing them fused, and and it made me lose it for a second. Has it, James? Has it ended? Steven, here's the thing. I don't know if you knew this, probably not. Maybe you did. My imagination is vast like space. And, I slipped there. And as soon as I slipped, I pictured a Dragon Ball Z-esque fusion of Diesel and Cole Bryson. And I just couldn't recover. Because if they do the fusion dance, in my head, what do they look like? I said Cole Diesel. And now I got it in my head. They're fusing, and I can't. Yeah, and I can't. It's just like, what does that look like? I mean, it's just I don't know that there's a change. That's the part that's bothering me. I don't. Do they get shorter? I guess. See, you can't unsee it now that it's in your head. And I'm just like, and of course, Diesel's Vegeta complaining the whole time. There's no way that he's going to do a stupid dance. And before you say it, if Rob and I fuse, we'd just immediately explode because all the paranoia would just be too much for one body to hold. It just explode. It would just be over. Steven, come on, man. No one else in the world can look like that man. Perfect beard, perfect hair, perfect voice. Perfect for Detroit. Oh, I can't wait. Let's nose. I can't wait. Oh, let's nose. I can't wait for his first post about Lake Effect.
Lake Effect.
I can't wait for that. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, but if you use Pitaros, that's permanent, unless of course you're one of them is a ghost or an angel, I guess. Oh, I probably should have stopped that. Oh well.
This?
Yeah, well, because we're running a little bit low.
Oh, okay.
If I got that, we would have been on time, but I was still too busy with the fusion thing and I'm not going to get that out of my head all day. The good thing I'm not an artist. Because I mean, in my brain I am.
Don't tell him.
If I could draw.
I'm gonna get both of them somehow to take
No,
a
you
picture
won't.
like
You
this,
will not get
and then
Diesel to do
I
it.
bet I can do it.
I bet you
I
won't.
bet I can do it. I'm gonna be like, yo.
Yeah. Are you going to pay
I'm
him?
doing something for the Liberty. I need you to stand next to him. and do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Secret nerd. He knows what it is.
No way. No way. He's a secret nerd, but he's not a
Cole has no clue.
no,
He's-
Cole be easy.
No. Cole has never even heard of Dragon Ball.
No, I
Z.
know. I'm saying
Yeah.
I can get Cole to do that easy. Diesel will be the tough one, but I don't think he's gonna be that big of a secret nerd. Third hour of the Rob Brown Show gets going now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob and Alonzo with you. The this is our fourth nomination,
No.
third nomination, thrice nominated, twice awarded.
All right. Year one for you. Well, for us together, you
Yeah.
nominated one. Year two was the year of discontent, I believe.
Nominated, but not a finalist that year.
No. One of the years we missed out, and we think it was a snafu. But anyway, so we won one year together.
Yep.
The second time we went there, we got two. So this would be the third time, and we got three. I don't know how we can get four next year.
No. I don't mean in a single year. I mean 4 sports talk radio show. Of the year.
I know, but think of how we're doing this though. One the first year, next time nominated for 2, next time nominated for 3. How do we get a fourth one? I don't know what else we can get nominated for the fourth one.
We're gonna be scouring the program that night. Like, what else can we win? What else can we win? 3's not enough. What else can we get in here for? 3-time nominated, twice awarded. Fingers crossed in early August, it will be thrice awarded South Carolina Broadcasters Association's Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. Lonzo and I are also up for in the non-sports category of Best Morning Show Personality or Team. I am up for Sports Broadcaster of the Year. Looking forward to the silver against Chris Miller there. And Lonzo has like a gazillion awards on the side.
Hey, I finally made it though. My last name ain't even on it anymore. I mean, I'm up there with Bono and Madonna.
Exactly.
And,
Nobody's ever going to
yeah.
go, and the Grammy goes to Madonna Jones. Like, that's not what you
I don't
do.
think that's her last name.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Yeah, I
but
can't remember though. She's been married quite a few times. One of those might have been a Jones. I don't know.
that's just the funniest way I could come up
She's
with
probably
it.
hyphenated more than likely though.
We'll find out. Did get the nominations for the 2023-24 Star Awards, and the Rob Brown Show up for 3.
Thank you,
so far
James.
this year.
Because I was thinking of that earlier. Once we get to 5,
5 times. 5 times.
although technically
times.
this will be 5 though.
This would be. Let's see. We have this. If
It would be 5 for you.
if-
as for this show.
Because we ain't won a damn thing yet. All right.
Oh,
We gotta lock in like the Florida Panthers here. We ain't won a damn thing yet.
guaranteed some hardware.
Yeah, but if
It's
you,
not the, you
Mer-
want to win.
listen,
I know.
nobody is ever going. Wait, welcome to the Rob Brown Show, South Carolina Broadcasters Association's second best sports talk radio show of the year. Nobody's doing that. Nobody gives a damn about that, right? We're not changing the liners if we win second best sports talk radio show in the state.
There have been a few of those on this very station.
I mean, we're not doing that. All right.
I'm just saying.
We're not. All I'm saying here is if Florida loses to Edmonton tonight, they're not hanging a banner for second best team in the NHL. It's not happening. It's not. Right? We ain't won a damn thing yet. We got to stay locked in.
Are we
here.
rioting if we lose? Are we doing
No,
that?
not at all. Not at all. Because I will tell you that we are up against a new show this year, a show we have not gone head to head with yet, which because I am OCD to my core, the minute I read about their show, I went straight to their website and listened to like an hour and a half of their pods, and they're pretty good.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
I don't think I ever do that. So I
do. The paranoia. I'm like Linkin Park with the paranoia.
Because it ain't like they're in the building over there and we see them every day. I mean, if they were, I would not acknowledge
Listen,
them.
champions watch game film. All right. Tape don't lie.
Okay.
Tape don't lie.
How's that going to affect the outcome?
Not at all. Already,
All right.
not
Yeah,
even a little bit. Doesn't mean I'm not going to figure out.
I mean, if anything, you'll recognize them when we're there. I won't. So, I mean, until they walk up on the stage. First.
Either before us or after us.
Hopefully before us.
Hopefully before.
Hopefully before.
So 3 times nominated, hopefully 3 times award-winning show. We will find out. Also up for Sportscast of the Year. Lonzo and I also up for best morning show personality and or team. We'll let you know what ends up happening this year's theme for those of you that care. Is garden party.
It's just ridiculous, man.
How is it
It's
ridiculous?
because it's a bunch of rich people in Colombia deciding something fancy every year. Oh, this year.
Every year
we're
we
gonna-
were Cowboys last year.
Yeah,
for
but
God's sake.
that's like the most risque thing they've ever done.
You were a mime.
Yeah, because it was a night in Paris. That was more of a. That was just.
The nerds being sarcastic.
Oh no, that was me hoping to do what we did, and that was Chris and I sit on either side of the general manager. That was the goal the entire time, which is probably why he made me stay at his table last year to get me back. No, I just like earlier, I told you my idea. It's more of lashing out at their choices than it is embracing them.
I will
because we are radio. That's what we do.
I will at some point present unto the 3 options for attire that Rob Brown is going in. It will either be
You're gonna do a fashion show.
No, I'll put
You're
them
gonna
up
do
on the stream
do
because
a
I can't buy
TikTok-
them all.
Do a TikTok fashion show.
It will either be a wildflower theme on top of a baby blue suit, a fern motif on top of a hot pink suit, or the third option is one that I totally stole from Lonzo, and I'm not going to tell you what it is in case we decide to do that instead because I think it would be bleeping hilarious.
Oh, it would be great. It really would. I'm leaning towards that a little bit.
I'll put it this way.
No, do not.
I'm not going to give it away. I'm just going to say
Radio is everywhere, man. Someone to steal it.
yeah, I'm just going to say that will be largely up to the lady friend. I will let her make. I'm going to tell her that idea, and if she says go, because I've already got the necessary materials for it, right? I already.
Either way, you've got the necessary materials because garden party, you dress like that every time you go out. I mean, it's not like I have to go to DXL and go, hey, dress me like Travis Kelce, except not
dress
as
me
expensive.
like Travis Kelce when Tay-Tay's around.
Yeah, but not as expensive.
But you see your boy prancing around on stage with Tay-Tay in Europe.
I've seen glimpses of it. That's
pretty good.
I mean, good for him.
What a bro. What an absolute bro. Gotta love that. All right, sports.
Really quick though, suggestions. What should I wear for a garden party? If you
match me,
should I go with a flowery shirt?
Yep.
Should I find a white linen jacket to go with it? What should I do?
I have it. I'm gonna need you in seersucker, bud.
Yeah, but that's not garden party.
That is absolutely garden party.
No, that's
definition of garden party.
That's
you're gonna sit here and you're gonna tell me what's garden party and what's not garden party? I have a garden, sir, and I throw parties.
By the way, out of all the things that we thought he would get emotional about today, this is not it. And so ain't nobody got on their bingo card. It's a lame theme. I
love it.
Of course you would.
I love it.
I'm not fancy and frou-frou.
I thought shots fired.
You don't think
fired.
people who go to garden parties are frou-frou.
Are not fancy and frou-frou.
They're big time fancy and frou-frou. That's all they are. That's rich people going, "Oh, are you coming to the garden party today?"
No.
Oh, I love your hat. It's beautiful.
This is Lonzo's absolute discrimination is what this is. Anything that's not teachers throwing desk at kids is frou-frou. And I'm not here for it.
I don't know why you're bringing that up. That has nothing to do with going to a party.
Garden parties are delightful ways to spend a Sunday afternoon.
If you talk about a party as delightful, you might be someone who's from the upper crust.
Oh no, every party should be just degenerate.
Did you learn?
Can't ever have something fancy
rock and roll,
nice.
Dude. Look at my hair. Did you learn how to garden party at Cotillion?
No, I learned how to black tie party at Cotillion.
Okay.
And I'll tell you right now, they ever turn one of these into a black tie event, I'm even more in.
So that costs even more.
I'm even more in.
That's just, I mean, I have to justify buying a new outfit in a style that I never wear to my wife for one night. And I get it's an awesome event. It is a big night.
We're making history.
But I've got quite a few things that are hanging in my closet that I will never wear again, that I wear once. And I can't afford to wear something only once guy. I cannot afford that.
You wear that cowboy hat anytime you want. You just choose not to.
I look too good in it.
Oh my God.
I mean, I am a natural cowboy. You look like rhinestone cowboy. I look like I should be out on the range. We all know it. We all saw it. I'm starring in the good, and the bad, and the ugly. And you're
emphasis on the ugly. Bang!
Well, yeah, cowboys. Real cowboys weren't pretty. Out there on the range, man, that's hard living.
All right. Texter just texted sports. So let's sports, shall we?
Wait. Let us have our moment, Texter. And first of all, it is because of sports that we're able to have this discussion. Jealous?
He put like 12 exclamation points on it too.
Did you actually count them, or are you just guessing?
No, it's ballparking it.
Okay. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, I think 8. It's close. Round up to 12. Sports. Now that I have 3 minutes left. Where am I gonna go? Where's my short segment?
Let's give him the sports show he wants. All right, let's read his scores from last night. And the Braves won, and then
Braves did win. Took 2 out of the 3 against the Yankees up in the Bronx, which is something that we definitely all expected was definitely going to happen, right?
Yeah,
that
everyone but you. Everyone but you.
Yes, everyone thought that team was going to go to New York and take 2 out of the 3 for a series win against the best team in baseball. Alarm. Damn. Everybody knew that this team was going to go to the Bronx and win the series.
Well, I tell you what, real fans did.
America.
Oh, I got a new clip.
Oh, can you believe this? Go, USA!
Yay, Ian Dark. Oh, sorry. Friend of the show, Ian Dark,
There you go.
as a matter of fact.
Got to make sure you throw that in there.
2 out of the 3. Max Fried gave you 6 strong yesterday. The only L came against Charlie Morton on Saturday. Uncle Charlie's got to be the most Jekyll and Hyde pitcher in the league. There's games he's going to come out and give you a 6 or 7 with 8 or 9 Ks. And then there's days like he's going to have on Saturday where he just can't locate the ball over the plate at all. A little bit frustrating. But all of that being said, defense was exceptional for Atlanta this weekend. In game number 1, they batted like the 27 Yankees or the 2023 Atlanta Braves. We're hitting the ball around the ball field to every part of the ball field. Guys were making really good decisions out on the base pass.
Inconceivable.
It felt like it.
All right, here's the, there was that still faux panic. It wasn't real panic. He hasn't really panicked yet. And you did like an entire show about how they're done, and they weren't, and they're not.
No. Never said they were done. Said that they are not getting it done right now, and that if something doesn't change, they will be cooked. Now, I'm not even saying
Told
that
you it was
something
faux panic.
it was not
if it
faux
was
panic.
real panic, then it was not real.
Can one panic yet still work towards a solution? Yes, one can, and one did, and one has, and that is very much why I was elated at what we saw out of Atlanta this weekend. If you had told me that we were taking 2 out of 3 before the series started, I would have called you an absolute lunatic for
And
it.
probably some other names that he can't
And
say.
probably some
Yeah,
other names that I
probably.
can't say on the radio. So, with all of those things being said, you got good pitching on Friday and Sunday. You did not get good pitching on Saturday, and that was the difference. Now, there is something that comes into play here, which is, for whatever reason, the Yankees can't, for the life of them, figure out how to hit left-handed pitching. Cannot, for the life of them, figure out how to put the baseball on the bat against a left-handed pitcher. And the Braves took advantage of that. You threw a lefty on Friday, you
The
threw a lefty
entire
on Sunday.
team can't hit a lefty.
Yeah, team average is very down against left-handers for this team this year.
Kind of part
Yes.
of the whole game that they're left-handed pitchers, right?
It is, but it doesn't mean that you are good against that. Some teams can't stop the run. Some teams can't stop the pick and roll. It is your weakness. That is the Yankees right now. They cannot hit pitches off of left-handed pitchers, and the Braves threw one at them on Friday, threw another one at them on Sunday, got the dub in both. I'm now interested in the Subway Series because the Mets are coming to town, and the Mets for a 2-game set are throwing a pair of lefties at the Yankees. But that's a Yankees discussion, and we're not here for it. We're here to talk about the Atlanta Braves. Orlando Arcia had a good day yesterday at the Dish, ended up responsible for one of the RBIs that got them the game. However, Orlando Arcia is bad this year, which is remarkably frustrating because he has been a valuable part of the core the last couple of years. And I thought heading towards the trade deadline that Atlanta was likely going to be focusing on pitching and then maybe an outfield bat. But that has gone completely on its head, and it's gone completely on its head right now because all of the sudden they moved Jared Kelenic into the leadoff spot. And as a leadoff batter, Kelenic has been remarkable. Has had a handful of dingers, a bunch of ribbies turned in as the leadoff guy, and not platooning Jared Kelenic has turned Jared Kelenic into the player that Braves fans wanted/needed him to be when the move got made to bring him down from Seattle. I'm thrilled with that. So now all of a sudden, I don't know that you need the outfield bat. You may very well need to go find the infield bat at this point. You may need to go find somebody that can rest Orlando Arcia until he gets his bleep together. Because right now, he does not have his bleep together. And that is one of the few big downfalls for this Braves baseball team at this point. But the bats woke up a little bit. They started hitting the ball. Max Fried is giving you exactly what you need out of him on a game-to-game basis. I said Charlie Morton is the weak spot in the rotation right now because he's fighting a battle against Father Time, and Father Time seems to be catching up. But you took 2 out of the 3 against New York on the road. Let's go. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
QC.
All right, guys, right back. Stay right there for me. All right. Thanks for hanging in there, kids. Appreciate it. We need the Ruby Red Jacket back up until the awards. No, the Ruby Red Jacket's retired, man. It's retired.
So when you hear in the restroom, what do you think?
Then I'm going to a different restroom.
I walked around the corner, washed my hands. Lee was standing there. We both looked at each other like, don't say a word. Let's get out of here. Maybe we survive. We don't know. I'm surprised you're not going to wear a onesie, because when you put Garden Party up, a lot of onesies in there.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is. Even when I type in what does a guy wear to a garden party, there are a bunch of onesies.
A light, airy, ordinarily pastel colored or floral suit.
Okay, that looks like a puce onesie. Yeah, that's what that looks like. Should I send it to you in case you're interested?
Nope, I'm not
okay.
interested.
All right,
but thank you for looking out for me.
It's That's what we do. Okay, that's jeans. Can you wear jeans to a garden
No.
party? See, you're
You asked the question.
no,
I
you're
answered it.
adamant about no. It's like, whoa, dude.
Can I wear shorts to church? No. It's against the customs.
You can, but stylish 3-piece cotton outfits for men, light khaki. That's like that jacket's like a cape. I mean, it's like a duster, but it's like linen. Although, yeah, I'm gonna click on this because wow, no, that's a robe. That's absolutely a robe. I can't even say the name of this place on the air because I feel weird about it. Leisure trendy 3-piece outfit. That looks like something from Star Wars. I am so down with that.
The Rob Brown Show continues. Rob and Lonzo, happy Monday, my dudes and my dudettes. We talked a couple of weeks ago. There was the not proposal, but discussion that was going on in the land of college sports that would set roster limits, not scholarship limitations anymore, but would set roster limits. So instead of having 85 guys on scholarship and then 40 guys that are not, college football teams will be limited to X number of players, period. And you could do whatever you wanted scholarship-wise as far as your school goes, but you could only have X guys on the roster, right? So in a world where you get, 7.5 baseball scholarships annually, you could have a spot where you could have 15 guys is the new limit on any given college baseball roster, and you could award all of them a scholarship. You could award none of them a scholarship, whatever. But basically, what this proposal would have done or would do if it goes into effect, what it would do is effectively eliminate walk-on athletes. It would you would not have walk-on. You would not have the story of the walk-on, the saga of the walk-on. You would not have the annual blitz of videos of walk-on players being awarded a scholarship, which I will tell you, ranks right up there with military members surprising their kids on the list of wholesome internet things, right? You go on the internet enough, you see some stuff that makes you question humanity. Just go Google walk-on receive scholarship and tell me it doesn't change your life for the better, okay? Welp! Pat McAfee wanted to talk a little bit about this. I found it interesting. I found Pat's opinion interesting. Gonna play it for you, and then Zoe and I will respond.
The fact that there's a thought that we need to eliminate walk-ons from big-time college football is so stupid. And it also makes me believe that the people making a lot of these decisions don't know ball. And if we got people who don't know ball making decisions in this transition era of college football, we need to figure that out. We need to cut that out. And we need to preserve this sport and make this sport as great as it possibly can be while transitioning with people that understand what the hell's going on in locker rooms, in sport, in football as a whole. And I stand firmly on the side of Lane Kiffin and Kirby Smart. And I appreciate the fact that two of the most famous coaches in sports now, that Coach Saban's out and everything, Kirby Smart's the next, right? Let's talk about it.
Yep.
Are the ones taking such an issue with this is a good thing. And hopefully we'll be able to change this around. I didn't know this was potentially a thing until earlier this week. What a bunch of, why would you even think about walk-ons are football lovers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm saying ball lovers.
More than anybody.
Football lovers. You're talking about D3 offensive linemen, just they're cleaning their own pads, cleaning their own uniforms so they can show up and practice every single day. They love ball. They want to continue to play ball. Walk-ons love football. Walk-ons also are a massive piece of the chemistry and culture in the locker room. Walk-ons, whenever they make it and get scholarship, are enjoyable moments for the entire team, life lessons for the entire team. Walk-ons can inevitably be the reason why your team wins or your team loses, and the people that seemingly are making the decision have no idea about that being the case.
No. So there's a take from Pat McAfee, and there's a little bit I like about it. There's a little bit I don't like about it. I will start with this. I think Pat is doing what a lot of people are doing right now. And I think what Pat is doing right now is romanticizing the sport. And I understand. I romanticize the sport as well. We all romanticize the sport because we love the sport and we love to romanticize things that we love. And I think that a lot of the decisions that get made, it is hard to continue to have those romantic feelings about the sport when it slaps you in the face that the decisions are being made by people that do not romanticize the sport like you do, right? And this happens, just so we're clear, this happens in every form of art and media and entertainment. It is exactly, I think, great one, the argument that is happening right now with the Star Wars fandom, right? Because there's millions of us who grew up with Star Wars, and we have this romanticized image of Star Wars. And now the last couple of elements in the Star Wars universe that have dropped are being made by people who very clearly do not have that same romance about this entire universe that has been out there since 1977. And they're trying to welcome in a new fan base and make more money off of it and yada, yada, yada. Whereas the rest of us are going, this is not the Star Wars I love. It's not the Star Wars I grew up with, right? I think it's kind of the same thing. Those romantic feelings about college football are not shared by the people who make the power decisions. They're not shared by the people who actually have the ability to influence the way that the sport looks, acts, and is run. And I think Pat is kind of having to come to grips with this in real time. But
where does money come into play in this?
In college football?
No,
at the very beginning.
I am talking about when it comes to not having walk-ons anymore. Where does money come into play?
Well, the money comes in trying to increase the parity. And by the way, this is something that a lot of the, I don't want to say a lot of the smaller schools, because I honestly don't know what the numbers is. If anybody's going to be in favor in this, it's the smaller schools. And I'm not talking about Furman. I'm talking about Vanderbilt. I'm talking about Kentucky. I'm talking about the small South Carolina. I'm talking about the schools that watch a team like Georgia hoard talent onto their roster. A roster cap, a roster limit would create a world where Georgia can't do that anymore. A lot of kids that go play at Georgia and don't play at Georgia, they fill out the roster at Georgia, would not be able to do that. They'd have to go play somewhere else. And a lot of these guys might be good enough to break some other teams out of mediocrity down the line. So I think it's about increasing parity across the game and making sure that, because the fact is that even though it has been shown by ratings that we will all sit here and complain about rematches and complain about those two teams already played, do we need to see them again? The SEC did it a couple of times and the ratings went up every time they did it, right? So, but I still think the concept is to spread parity and spread success around college football so that your 12-team playoff isn't just the same 12 damn teams year after year.
Yeah, but no matter what they do, it's probably still going to be, because the teams at the top are going to stay at how often do the blue bloods, the teams that have been up there, take such a fall that they're not back within a year?
Very, very rarely. But again, this would change a foundational pillar of college football. You heard Pat talk about it. The guys that are on these teams, they love football. And these are the guys that when it's time to run the Oklahoma drill, These are the guys that clamor to get between the pads and be the guy that goes up there and hits. These are the guys who build the chemistry. These are the glue guys. And there's a lot of glue guys at Georgia that may see, 15, 20, 25 snaps as a backup this year. That would be game changers at a place like a Kentucky or a Vanderbilt. And if Georgia can only have, let's say, 100 dudes on the roster, then a lot of those extra 40, 45 guys would have to go play somewhere else and could make a difference at a Kentucky, could make a difference at a Vanderbilt, could make a difference at a Boston
They can
College.
already do that with the transfer portal. They can leave where they are and go somewhere else.
Right, but they are under no obligation to do so. This would be a mandated way to level out the playing field, right? Because again, I'm sure there are a lot of guys that would be perfectly happy to ride out 4 years as a consistent backup at Georgia and win a natty that maybe not super interested in going to Boston College and whatever. And for the record, this is not me arguing in favor of it. I am not arguing in favor of it. I honestly do not know where I fall on it. There's part of me that goes, I see the idea of creating parity. It's you know what it is? It's a college version of an NFL salary cap. Right? It's a college version of an NFL salary cap. And the NFL, you keep teams from stockpiling talent by saying you're only allowed to pay X million dollars a year, and you got to fit everybody on your roster under that number. So Kansas City can't just go get every AFC Pro Bowler from last year and stack them all. You can't do that in college because there's not direct money that you can control the limitations of. But what you can do is say, Georgia, you can have 100 guys playing football. You can have 100 guys, not one more. And that way, player number 101 that would be lost in the sauce at Georgia now has to go play for Maryland. Now has to go play for an Oregon State. And you level out the playing field a little bit. That's the belief. But the whole takeaway from that for me was watching Pat McAfee in real time realize that the decision makers do not give a good gosh darned about the game. They never have. They don't care about the game. They care about making the game profitable and nothing else. Watching him realize that in real time, it broke my heart a little bit. It really did. Let's take a break. We'll come back. John Blau from the Post and Courier joins us in the next segment to talk Clemson sports on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
New line.
All right, guys, one more reading. We're back with John after that. Stay right there for me.
I don't know that it is.
Holy crap, that's funny.
I read that out loud. I
You did. I'm proud of you.
I read that out loud. I was like, what?
The corruption of Alonzo.
What? There's no corruption of me. I'm who I am. Wow.
I encourage all of you to go to Urban Dictionary and look up the definition
No.
of Garden Party there.
No, don't do that.
Alonzo just read it out loud.
Don't
to
do
me.
that.
And
Don't
it's
do that.
amazing.
I didn't read all of it because there was a lot more, and I no.
Switch over to the personal profile.
Why? I'm looking it up for work purposes.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the great Alonzo, and joining us now on the phone, he is a reporter covering Clemson athletics for the Post and Courier. He is John Blau. Joins us every Monday at 8:40 to talk Clemson sports. John, what's up, big dog? Happy Monday, bud.
I'm good. How are you, Rob?
Doing very well. Doing very well. Thank you very much. Let's jump right in. I would like to get your thoughts on a discussion that we have been having on the show so far this morning. We started it off over with South Carolina. It kind of traipsed over into Clemson. And just your thought on this. I said earlier in the show, to me, this is a bit of a statement year for Clemson football. And when I broke down the ACC this season earlier in the year, you got Florida State that has expectations. You got Miami that has expectations. You got North Carolina that has expectations. There is a path for Clemson to the 12-team playoff. There is a path for them not to make the 12-team playoff, especially considering there's a lot of folks who think you could get as many as 8 SEC Big Ten teams in there if there is that conference bias that a lot of people suspect there is. John, if the Clemson Tigers do not make the playoffs in the initial year of the 12-team playoffs, the reaction will be what?
Yeah, it's just the continued backslide. Obviously, last year they had the fewest wins they'd had since way early into the Dabo Swinney era. And to miss it a fourth time in a row, and especially with the field opening up to what it is now, to be 12 teams, I mean, that would be just the continued backslide. And obviously not a very good look in terms of, you talk about best as the standard, you talk about, you won 2 national championships in 3 years, you were in the playoff for 6 straight years, and all of a sudden you miss it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and even expanded the field to make it easier for you to get in. And so, it would be a lot of upset. It would just kind of be that narrative that they're continuing to kind of fade, out of the top tier of schools. And they're just kind of back to what they were when Clemson was good, but not great. And so that would kind of be the narrative. So it's a statement here in terms of trying to, prop yourself up into that elite. And Dabo Swinney talking about them being an elite program, that they would have to get back to the playoff. If they don't do that, obviously the narrative's going in the opposite direction.
There was a big conversation a couple of weeks ago. I know you heard it a million times, I'm sure. I'm sure it's been discussed at length. It's a dead horse that has been beaten into submission, that there are 3 schools that did not take a transfer in. 2 of them were service academies. The other was Clemson. And when you stack that onto the fact that we are multiple years deep into the NIL and the portal era now, we are multiple years deep. You've had time to figure it out, whether you're Dabo Swinney or Shane Beamer or anybody else. Do you think that if Clemson does not make the play, it's a big if, because there is absolutely a path to get there, even playing in an ACC title game if you don't win it. If they do not make it, do you think that is kind of what is going to be the discussion's point about Dabo's tenure next offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a discussion point the last couple of years. So I think it'll absolutely be a discussion point after next season if they don't make it. Whether that's actually the reason why they are not making the playoff or not, I mean, that's again, a part of the debate. I mean, I think it was a writer with The Athletic. I think it was Seth Emerson was writing about Dabo Swinney's approach to the portal and saying, well, it's not really the portal; it's the fact that they have missed on quarterback. I mean, if you look at obviously. I don't know if adding one or two portal pieces around DJ Uiagalelei or adding one or two portal pieces around Cade Klubnik the way he was last season, if that is the thing that gets them to where they need to be, or they're just so far below that level of the Trevor Lawrence and the Deshaun Watson era that they're not quite going to be able to produce because they're not getting that production from that position. But you can debate it either way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And obviously, I think a lot of people would just like to see Dabo just add one or two good players, enhance the roster where you can. He's obviously taken kind of that principled stand that he believes in his guys, and he's not going to recruit over them unless it's somebody really, really good. And there's a very obvious gap on the roster. There's guys that obviously there's positions where fans will look and say that that's an obvious gap. He doesn't think that's a gap. He has a guy he believes in who he thinks is better than the other options he could get. So whether the portal actually is the reason or not, people will absolutely talk about it because we've been talking about it a lot over the last couple of years. So I have no doubt in my mind that if they don't make the playoffs, that we're going to be talking even more about it. He's going to be getting even more questions about it.
I'm interested in that. I'm a soccer guy. We've been talking about Copa America, and there's been a lot of complaints. Oh, they don't have a striker. They haven't developed a goal scorer, right? And my hit back on, hatred towards, I guess, as a coach, Greg Berhalter, the head coach of that team, is, yeah, but it's kind of his job to do that. It's kind of his job to find that guy, develop that guy, implement that guy, make sure we have somebody that can do it. Whether it is complaints about the portal, whether it is complaints about multiple consecutive misses on highly touted quarterback recruits, whatever, the discussion point for me is it still kind of falls down on Dabo Swinney to make sure that you're in the best spot you can be. What's the best Clemson can hope for at the end of this year, regardless of portal, missing on quarterbacks, Cade Klubnik developing or not, et cetera? What is the most optimistic outcome for Clemson this year? Is it a natty?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's a high probability of that, but I mean, definitely make the playoff and definitely be able to win a game in the playoff. Because if Cade Klubnik, and actually in my last answer, I should have said receiver play really hasn't been where it has been either. I think that's the huge hope going into this year that everybody has, is that, Bryant Wesco, TJ Moore, these are freshmen that might be ready to contribute immediately. You have Antonio Williams, you have Tyler Brown, all these guys coming into their own. You might actually have the best receiver core they've had in a handful of years. And then you've got a quarterback in Cade Klubnik who obviously struggled as a sophomore, had his ups and downs. You saw that last drive against Kentucky in the bowl game. I mean, he's a guy that, if he can play with some decisiveness, has enough arm talent, has the ability, he can run around a little bit. I mean, there's a reason he was considered a 4 or 5 star talent coming out of high school. And so, I mean, the most optimistic is that you finally get those pieces kind of up to par where they have been, maybe not the level that has been with Clemson in the past, but, a pretty good level. You get the offensive line figured out with Matt Luke. You got one of the better offensive line coaches in the country. You can finally get that unit to where you can ground and pound a little bit, and Garrett Riley's dirt great offense. And the defense, if you look at the defense, I mean, it's as talented as they've been over the last however many years. I mean, the talent has not dropped off at all. You got guys like Peter Woods and TJ Parker coming in their sophomore years, and Khalil Barnes, obviously Barrett Carter back at linebacker. There's a lot of talent on that team. If they could finally just kind of, again, the offense, get that to click into place and get some of that production back, this is absolutely a team that can get to the playoffs and win a game in the playoff, whether they win a national championship. That obviously would be a huge jump. I don't know if that's going to happen necessarily, but they're absolutely in the discussion. But obviously there's the alternate scenario where Cade Klubnik doesn't quite develop and the offensive line doesn't quite come together and the freshmen aren't quite ready. And you can see it going either way, but there's absolutely an optimistic frame of mind that you can have going into the season about Clemson if some of those things work out.
And obviously, I completely agree. The development and the improvement of Cade Klubnik is a massive, massive reason for success or failure this year. So we've gone through the camp, we've done the spring games, we've done all that. Was there anything specifically during the spring workout period from Cade Klubnik that gave you a read on offseason improvement or not this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so tough. Obviously we're at a few practices or some open practice. You're basically watching them throw mostly on air or a couple of series, maybe 11 on 11. And obviously the spring game is just a mess. Probably talked about that a couple times. I mean, you got split up squads and obviously very vanilla play calling, and you got drops and stuff like that. And things would just make it a little weird, quick sack calls. So, yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, honestly, I did not come out of the spring saying for sure Cade Klubnik is so much improved or he's going to be this much better of a player. But there was, it was very limited kind of what we were able to see. So I wouldn't make any bold proclamations or say, like, I saw this or that, and this is why Cade seems like he's better. I know that Dabo said, but again, Dabo's a very positive guy when it comes to his players. He sees a little bit more of a thicker skin in Cade Klubnik, a little bit more decisiveness, a little bit more comfortable, obviously, leading the offense, being a leader. He sees that maturity in him. And again, I go back to that Kentucky game, the bowl game, the last drive he had, the fact that he was able to do that in the clutch, even though I know some people say bowl games don't mean anything anymore, but there have been signs that he's growing up a little bit, but we're really going to have to see it in fall camp, obviously in the Georgia game. It's really kind of a wait and see, I think, with him.
John Blau covers Clemson athletics for the Post and Courier. You can find him on X at John_Blau, BLAU. Joins us every Monday at 8:40 to talk Clemson sports. John, my man, thank you very much, big dog. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Rob.
You got it. That is John Blau from the Post and Courier joining us here on the radio program. I think what he said, was reasonable, right? Like, I think there are a lot of people, and I really do think this is a human trait. We like to try to boil complicated circumstances down to one thing, two things. We like to simplify, and then that's just an evolutionary holdover of human beings. We simplify because we can only do so much at one time. So you simplify down to the big problems and you handle those, and then you simplify down to the next bigger problems and handle those, and you keep going all the way down until you've figured it out or until the circumstances have changed. But at the same time, this is why you also hear me use the word nuance like all the time when it comes to sports. The conversation has to have nuance, And so for me, it is absolutely easy to say, and I have said for the record, if things go squirrely here for Clemson, we are deep enough into the portal, deep enough into the NIL era that I would feel comfortable saying the Dabo way doesn't work. So Dabo's either got to change the way he does it, or Clemson's got to change Dabo, one or the other, or change who's in Dabo's office, one or the other. But I also think it's fair for John Blau to point out, well, this also has to do with poor wide receiver play the last couple of years. It has to do with the lack of development of Cade. It has to do with misfiring on DJ Uiagalelei and then Cade, although not time to write him off yet. But you get the point. And my response is to that, and has been to the folks who have hit me with that before, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But also, don't all of those things still fall under Dabo Swinney, right? Like, even if it has nothing to do with the portal, even if that roster is good enough and the only thing that holds them back is the wide receivers aren't better this year or the quarterback isn't better this year, I got news for you. Those things still fall under Dabo Swinney's watch. Those things he is still directly responsible for. So what do? What's the play there? I'll tell you what, if they gave away national championships for reading sports flashes, Lonzo would be a dynasty.
Yeah, I'm not even touching that. The College World Series will play a deciding Game 3 tonight after Tennessee and Texas A&M split the first two matchups this weekend. The Aggies took the opener 9-5 after putting up 7 runs in the first 3 innings. The Vols took Game 2 after trailing the entire game until the 7th inning when a couple of homers gave them the lead. Tonight's winner will claim the national championship. The Stanley Cup will be awarded this evening as well in a Game 7 between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Florida led the series 3-0, but Edmonton got all 3 back, outscoring Florida 18-5 in the last 3 games. The game starts tonight at 8 p.m. Hey, speaking of tonight, or this afternoon rather, tune in from 3 to 7 for our brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, and absolutely a whole lot of fun, all Wire to Wire. You got a green light. And that means go. And you should. And then there's like no sound on the thing and stuff, and it's droning on, and I'm just trying to cover something up because I don't want to hear it. That's all. Yeah. Yeah, James, but he's been warned twice. When you're warned twice by the Whites, look out.
The world is a vampire. So some of our favorite places to eat on Saturday nights keep going out of business. So does it? So What now?
Well,
Is there another one?
two so far, Grimaldi's
Grimaldi's.
and Habitat.
Yeah.
So I mean, would it make you think twice about going somewhere?
You're cursed.
Storyline wise, James, that wouldn't be such a bad thing. But if they were going to do that, they should have started with Ricochet. Or if you're about to be fired, this is how you find out. When you know I'm working with them tonight, oh no, guess I'm done. We used to have a guy around here. If he showed up at your door, you were getting escorted out of the building. He was a really large guy. He'd just come and stare at me every once in a while. He thought it was hilarious.
Here we go. The fourth, the final hour of the Rob Brown radio program starts right now. Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Rob Brown. The great Milonzo on the other side of the metaphorical glass this AM. Should you wish to be a part of the radio broadcast, now is a spectacular opportunity for you to do it. The renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone is open for you. 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE. The text line is open at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air. FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air.
Yeah, I have a dilemma, Rob. Okay, so I want to, because you've been doing this like every hour, and we need to do it again this hour. I want to tell everybody that we've been nominated for 3 Star Awards, but every time I fill up the 3, I feel like I'm doing a gang sign. So how do you, because if you turn it this way, isn't that east side, and you turn it this way, it's west side?
No, that is not west side.
This is not.
No, it is not.
Oh, west side is this.
There it is.
Yeah. No, well,
there it is.
I don't know. So just holding up 3 is okay.
Correct.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because you were doing it like this. You were doing this.
Well, you can go 3.
Yeah, I can't do
3
that.
or 3.
Yeah, I don't.
As an outfielder, you always went with the 3 being the outside fingers.
Isn't this the Hardy Boys?
Yes, and various other things.
It's something else?
Yeah.
Oh. So I probably shouldn't do that.
No, it's not bad. It's
Okay.
it's something you would find on Urban Dictionary. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
Yeah. So, I'm done with that. I think that as an outfielder, what you always did was you did it like this. You did it with the 3 outside fingers in the hand, and you did it with the 3 outside fingers of the hand, so that when when you flash it to the other side of the outfield, it wasn't confused with it being a 2 down, 2 down, 2 down. You got to go 3 down, so that way it's up and clear to your fellow outfielders, so that they don't blow it as the White Sox did the other day and have an outfielder. I guess in this case, a base runner who thought that there were 2 outs and took off running to third on a routine fly, and then got thrown out at first to lose the game.
Come on, there are no errors in Major League Baseball. We keep talking about either getting a championship belt or some big trophy that we can keep putting plates on. We got to do that.
I concur.
I mean,
I concur.
Championship
completely.
belts are pretty expensive, but we get to keep adding plates to it. I mean,
True
why
story.
not?
True story. All right, we got a lot we got to get to. I do want to point out, does Lonzo.
Could you at least mention that we've been nominated?
Oh, I'm about to.
All right,
I'm not
it
done.
sounded like you were moving on.
No, not at all.
Every hour it needs to be announced because there are people, coming and going. We want
Correct.
them to know.
For those of you that have not yet heard, the Great One has gotten us nominated for a station record 3 South Carolina Broadcasters Association Star Awards this year. Lonzo and I have been nominated for the 3rd time for Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. I have been nominated for Sports Broadcaster of the Year for the 2nd time, and for the 1st time, as far as I know, of any morning show on this station.
Well, we're the first morning show on this station.
Shush. You don't have to say that.
Well, then you shouldn't say as far as you know, because you do know.
Yeah, but it sounds better and more humble that way.
Yeah, what do we need that for?
As far as I know, the first morning show on the Fan Upstate in any iteration of it, Lonzo and I have been nominated for Morning Show Personality or Team of the Year. So 3 Star Awards are we nominated for, and hopefully we'll be coming back with more gold than silver. But we will find out come early August. And the only thing that anybody cares about, the theme this year, I'm very excited about it, is a garden party. It's going to be delightful. I can't wait.
The way you said it, a garden
A
party.
garden party.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Well, because it's the opposite of garden party, right? Like that's not the mood.
I feel like I could probably dress better for that kind of garden party.
That's not the mood. That's not the vibe.
Has anybody out there other than Rob ever been to a garden party?
If you haven't, you're missing out.
Okay, well,
Missing out.
not all of us are fancy and frou-frou.
You do not have to be frou-frou to enjoy a garden party.
You do. You
No,
gotta
you
be
don't.
frou-frou.
No, you don't. You just got to be not a degenerate for 30 minutes. And the drinks are incredible. Garden party food, untouchable. All right. Big fan. Little cucumber sandwiches. Can't beat it.
Hey, I'm a Neanderthal. We don't do frou-frou.
It's not frou-frou.
You seem pretty emotional about it. It looks frou-frou to me. I sent you a picture. Is that not frou-frou?
That is not frou-frou.
That
is comfort at its
that's
best.
I went out and then I went to bed and I didn't have to change.
Big fan of that. All right. So, not frou-frou. Very enjoyable.
Oh, Marcus, what an idea. What an idea. That almost trumps mine.
It's real close.
Yeah, it
It's
just
real close. It is everything.
we can't do it because there'll be the Tweedledee, Tweedledum jokes, and I'm gonna be Tweedledum, and I don't want to do that.
I do have to say, Marcus suggested we go as garden gnomes. And I got to tell you, a pair of 6 foot tall gnomes
I was gonna
rolling
say,
up
we're
in
too tall-
the
too
two
tall to be
tallest
gnomes.
guys in the room.
I ain't walking on my knees to pretend like I'm
No. I'm just going as a tall garden gnome. I don't hate it. I really don't. I can't tell you what the other one is going to be. I will tell you, for those of you that are fans of The Office, very close to going as Dwight Schrute from when he threw a garden party. Very close to going as Dwight Schrute from his garden party. I think would be spectacular.
I'm gonna have to go home and watch videos of garden parties to try to find out.
I've already showed you. I showed you this morning in the Fortress of Nerditude.
Yeah, listen, I like to get multiple sources. Not saying that you're not the ultimate source. I just want some other sources.
I am trying to talk Lonzo into matching hot pink suits with a fern motif on them.
I'm willing to listen. I'm not against wearing pink. Used to wear it all the time. So I'm not that guy who won't wear pink. I have a problem with that.
I'm going to start the GoFundMe this afternoon to get Lonzo in a hot pink suit
'Cause
with ferns on it.
Really, it comes down to money. It does. You've seen me, dude. There's no more showing out than going as a mime. I don't
That's fair.
care. I mean, it just. And by the way, those onesies, I would never wear one of those either. So I mean,
No one asked you to.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. They're not made for people with long torsos. So I mean, there's that.
I just if I gotta
All
go,
right,
I'm not trying to get in the buff in the bathroom, dude.
So what's the boss wearing for the garden party?
That's a great question.
I mean, because
That's a great question.
He like me does not look like someone who frequents the garden party. I mean, as far as how he dresses.
Boss man, if you are listening right now, we need to know what's your motif for the garden party this year.
Hey, you think we could get Snowman to dress up as a gnome?
He's nominated for a couple.
He'll
be there.
Well, maybe. I mean,
Do you think we could?
Maybe he won't be there. Maybe a gnome will be there.
Do we
instead.
think we could? Do we think we could trick him into it, or do you think?
Oh,
he'd
there's
do
no
it
tricking
willingly?
him. He's cleverer than both of us put together. It's not going to work.
Do you get to sip on mint juleps at garden parties? You do. You do. 100%. A mint julep is a wonderful garden party cocktail.
That's what I said. Joe on the stream, by the way, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or X. I is basically saying Rob could just wear what he's wearing to his wedding. He can wear what's in his
but
closet.
I can't.
It's all in his closet. Everything
can't-
in his closet would work except for the jerseys. It
I
would all
can't
work.
I can't rock the wedding suit to an event before the wedding, right? Like if it was post, yeah, I absolutely could, but I can't do it before. That being said,
Seasucker doesn't work for a
Seersucker-
guy of my size.
Seersucker works for everybody.
It doesn't.
I want you to
it's
go
too
watch.
expensive.
I want
It's
you to
too-
go watch any movie in the genre of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? There's always an old fat white bad guy,
Dude.
and he's always in seersucker.
What? Like
That movie's great, by the way.
Like Boss Hogg.
Yes. Yes.
So you want me
Yes.
to dress like Boss Hogg?
Boss Hogg, I don't think he wore seersucker, but seersucker fits for guys like Boss Hogg, yes.
Okay. I don't. I don't want to wear a suit that has sucker in the name. That's
Okay,
also
there it
part. I just don't.
Alonzo's got weird reasons.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Yes. Mint juleps, absolutely perfect. Lilac lemon drop martinis, phenomenal. Little rhubarb rosemary
Lilac
daiquiri,
lemon
untouchable.
Lilac lemon drop.
Yeah. Strawberry gin and tonic. I'm not a gin guy. You throw me a little fruit pop in there, then I'm in.
Nothing says frou like fruit pop.
I mean, again, it's not my fault that I have a well-rounded and excellent taste.
I also have joked that I decided for the entire evening when we're at the garden party that I'm just going to talk like this. Hey, Rob Brown, it's time for us to take the stage and take the trophy. Hello, all you fine people. Thank you for nominating us for this wonderful award.
First off, they don't let us talk. We've tried.
No.
They can't stop me from wooing again, though.
I just want to point out there is a microphone up there. I've only heard one person speak on that microphone.
Yeah, but I'm not.
And he's down the hall.
I'm not trying to get permanently disinvited from this thing. I'd like to be invited back. What I can tell you this year is they're catching a handful of from the stage. We hit a Ric Flair woo. I think we did the Outsiders once.
Here's the thing. If we're wearing some sort of suit, we should style and profile.
That's all I do. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I wore red sequins last
Although
year.
I'm afraid with my hair, I look more like Jeff Jarrett than I would Ric Flair.
Just put it in a bun.
Dude,
put it in a bun. You'll look great.
That only happened one time.
Oh, a pineapple gimlet. That sounds delicious.
What the heck's a gimlet?
It's a drink. I mean, you won't have one, but it's a drink and it's delightful.
Actually, James, I would look more like Daddy from Smokey and the Bandit. The two guys that were sending them on the trip. They're both wore all white. One of them was Paul Williams, who sang the song "I Go Crazy." The other one was a real tall dude. Oh, maybe I can get Stuntman to do that. Although it might look
no,
like
Stuntman's going as a garden gnome or nothing. I'm committed to that idea.
I want to be there when you ask him because I'm not going to
literally after the show.
I'm not going to deal with that kind of
literally after the show.
His glare will hurt your kneecaps.
Look at this. The Madre is listening. Look at the first one she sent me. One I literally already showed you this morning.
Yeah, I already saw that too.
Already found it.
Yeah.
The 70s floral motif is untouchable.
The problem is it's a little subdued for you.
It is. It's a little quiet.
It's not showy enough.
We'll figure it out. All right. Sports. U.S. 2-0 win over Bolivia last night in the first action in group play of the Copa America. Good win for the Americans. Couple of things I think need to be improved on. Play out of the back is going to have to be better. Passing out of the back is going to have to be better. It got a little sloppy. It got a little disjointed in certain spots. And those things are fine when you're playing Bolivia. Probably okay when you're playing Panama. Not good enough to play Uruguay. Not good enough to play Brazil, Argentina, Chile, the best teams out of the best teams across the Americas. What I will say is that the philosophy, the style of play last night was much better than it was against Colombia when we got dropped 5-1 the other day. One of the things, there were two primary things I wanted to see the Americans accomplish in this tournament. One of them was find a striker, find a 9, find a goal scorer, find that guy, find your Michael Jordan, find the guy that when you're in a close game late in a match, there's a guy that you know, this is the dude that it's takeover time. This is the dude that says, give me the damn ball. This is the guy that takes over. We don't have that guy right now. And I know Pulisic got another one yesterday. Good. You got to rely on him for now until you find that guy. But I do not think I can explain to you how much better a Christian Pulisic, a Gio Reyna, a Yusuf Muna, how much better these guys that we are relying on for goals right now are going to look when you are not relying on them for goals. You are just setting up opportunities through them and then having space created for finishes from them. We did not see that yesterday. The other thing I wanted to see us accomplish in this tournament, I think we did accomplish. Don't change the philosophy. Press, attack, throw numbers forward. Allow your best athletes, allow your best athletes to out-athlete their best athletes. There are only a few teams in this tournament that can out-athlete us. Actually, there's none that can out-athlete us. There are only a few tournament teams that have good enough soccer players that can negate our out-athleticing them. Does that make sense? Like, we are the most athletic team in this tournament. However, being athletic doesn't necessarily translate to playing the game well. And while there are a lot of teams that we can out-athlete and are good enough, like Bolivia, and are good enough that we can just throw athletes at them and know that goals are coming, it is not that way against Argentina, against Brazil, against Uruguay. It's not that way against those teams. So press the attack, keep the numbers forward, maintain that 70% possession rate that we had yesterday on their side of the field. Make sure that if we are going to lose, we're going to lose because outrageously talented international soccer players make outrageously talented soccer plays to beat us. That's the thought. Let's do this. Let's take a break. When we come back here in a minute, I got two things I want to get to. Number one, the Carolina Panthers vote on stadium renovations is taking place tonight. An $800 million renovation plan founded through a combination of taxpayer money and David Tepper's money. The proposal from the city, $650 million from hospitality taxes, funds that must be earmarked for tourism-related projects towards the stadium. David Tepper going to throw in $150 million plus an estimated $421 million in stadium upkeep over the next 20 years. We'll talk about that. Reggie Jackson, MLB Hall of Famer, MLB legend, told a story before the game last week at Rick Wood Field. I got an email a few days ago that asked me why, not combative, but asked me why I was going on about that Rick Wood Field game and why I was so impressed by it, etc. I'm going to play you the audio from Reggie Jackson. It's a little uncomfortable, and it is the reason that we did that game and continue to celebrate aspects of baseball history. We'll do that for you when we come back on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate. Roscoe Pete Coltrane.
Chances are I'd be Enos.
And I'm obviously Bo Duke. All right, give me 45, guys. I'll be right back. He was in his late 60s, right?
I know how old they keep saying how old he is now, and I know how old he was supposed to be in the thing. Actually, he might be
Uncle
dead.
Jesse.
Jesse Duke was born in the Duke farmhouse, and he would later act as a midwife for both Bo and Luke. Since the early 1700s up until the late 1970s, the Duke family had a family tradition of making what was commonly known as in Hazard County as the finest shine this side of the Mason-Dixon. They got his vehicles. Sweet Tilly back. This is well done. But they don't say how old he was. Because I just have this weird thought that I'm the same age as that Uncle Jesse was in Dukes of Hazzard, and it just bothers me. Oh, the weird places I go. Actually, the Duke boys could be your kids. So there's that. I'll take you on this journey of old with me.
Journey of old.
Doesn't sound right when he says "get that bag." I mean, just like I won't say it because
Get that bag.
It don't sound right.
Get the bag.
There should be an age limit to saying "get that bag." It should be 40. 40 should be the age limit. When you hit 40, you can't say "get that bag." So you're okay for like another 6 months.
I don't let other people dictate. Don't language police me.
There ought to be a law.
So David Tepper started a hedge fund, pardon me, and he got that bag. Like a lot of bags. To the tune of an estimated $20 billion. Lots of money. Lots of money. David Tepper has asked the city of Charlotte for mucho dinero in order to renovate Bank of America Stadium. Now, as I pointed out to Rashad Beard last Thursday, David Tepper has not yet threatened to move the team out of Charlotte. But that threat hangs in the air.
And Rashad Beard, who is very into what's going on in Charlotte, said he didn't recall ever hearing him say that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this is something that I promise you, the minute Tepper even traipses into the territory of sounding like he's threatening to move the team, it's going to become front page news across the entire NFL world, but also across the legal world. We talked about it last week. The Chiefs and the Royals asked Kansas City, Missouri, to update Arrowhead Stadium and Royals Park, the name of which I don't know off the top of my head. What is the name of the stadium the Royals play in? It is, of course, Kauffman Stadium, as we all knew.
I know someone who does, and they're very disappointed in you right now.
I don't know what to tell you. So they asked Kansas City, Missouri, for more money. The state of Missouri said no, said absolutely not. And the state of Kansas, of which half of Kansas City is in, the state of Kansas, pardon me, last week saw their legislative body in a bipartisan move draft up legislation that would do what the Chiefs and the Royals asked, get them a brand new stadium. Now, do I think that either the Chiefs or the Royals are leaving Kansas City, Missouri to go? No, I do not. but it is absolutely a leverage move. And more importantly, it also shows that there is bipartisan support in certain states and municipalities that are willing to shake hands over the aisle to get the benefits of having a pro sports team in their hood.
Pretty sure I saw that that governor signed it. Remember, we were.
Yep, that was the one hurdle left to be cleared, was would the governor sign it? And she said at the time that she thought it was a great idea, et cetera. So it wasn't really a question mark of if, but when, and she apparently has signed that. So TEP has not yet hung the threat of relocation on this as of now, but it is a tool in the toolkit should he decide to get dramatic down the line. David Tepper has asked the city of Charlotte for $650 million from hospitality taxes, which are funds that must be earmarked for tourism-related projects. I went and I looked up the numbers because I was very interesting. The amount of money that David Tepper is asking for from the city is roughly, Lonzo, roughly 4.75 times the amount of money that the city takes in hospitality taxes in any given year. They made about I'm real bad at math, but I think I'm pretty close on this one. They made about $130 million in hospitality taxes last annual budget, according to multiple sources in Charlotte. So about 130 million, you scale that up 4.5 times, you get to around the amount of money Tepper's asking for. On the flip side, the $650 million that he is asking for, in agreement with $150 million that he would put up front, plus $421 million in stadium upkeep over the span of the 20-year We Won't Leave arrangement, works out to be, great one, 0.02% of David Tepper's total net worth.
Point what?
0.02%.
That's not very much.
Not 2%, not 0.2%, 0.02% of David Tepper's net worth is what he's asking for, or is what he is putting on the table in this deal. That works out to be more than the $650 million he is asking for. That $650 million, of course, would be spread out over the lifetime of the 20-year deal, as would David Tepper's slightly more than 50% match in stadium upkeep over the span. Of course, Charlotte does have the opportunity to have concerts and shows and events come through and use BOA, as well as all of the tourism dollars that would generate. And if this stadium turns out looking as nice as the initial concept proposal looked, then I would assume there will likely be an uptick in the number of large national touring musicians predominantly that would host shows there. If you could get Taylor Swift to do a 3-show set in Charlotte, you are talking tens of millions of dollars coming in from the Swifties. So is that worth it when David Tepper is forking over 0.02% of his wealth? That'd be like Lonzo and I going in for a dime, 0.02% of our wealth. All right? The vote on this is coming tonight.
The dime's kind of steep. That's a good portion of my check, Rob. I don't know.
I mean, welcome to radio, baby. The vote is set for this evening. The Charlotte City Council will vote on that approval this evening. And I'll tell you, I would frankly be pretty shocked if they don't approve this. I would frankly be pretty shocked if they don't approve. I absolutely do think that this is going to be approved. And I think this is going to be approved largely because of what just happened last week in Kansas City. I think this is going to be largely approved because if Charlotte votes no on this, then two things happen. Number one, you're going to have other areas that want a team, and there are plenty that are going to start immediately putting together their legislation to give Dave Tepper exactly when he wants to go there, because even though it is a grand total of 0.02% of his wealth, billionaires do not become billionaires by voluntarily separating themselves from their money.
I don't think it passes.
Why
not? Because people don't want to vote for this kind of thing anymore. And we'll see.
I mean, we'd say that, but Kansas City literally just did less than a week ago.
No. They voted on a hypothetical. The Chiefs are not going to leave Missouri to go to Kansas. They're just not.
I mean, if Missouri says no, you're not getting a stadium out of us, and the ownership of the Kansas City Chiefs says a billionaire and his money are not soon parted, and Kansas City says we'll build you Arrowhead Volume 2.0 and we will charge you nothing for it, yeah, there's a chance they leave, especially since they don't even have to leave the city.
I don't know the political makeup of that area. Still stuck on Southern talk in my head. I'm not talking about Charlotte. I'm talking about in Kansas City. There's no way this passes.
I think you are. I'm not going to push on the train of thought, but I am going to disagree on the outcome. And part of the reason
we are coming at this from two different sides of a coin, if you will, and I don't think it will pass.
I would be, because this becomes a budget discussion, right? And I will say that while I consider myself tuned in to political happenings, regardless of my stance on them, it becomes a budget thing, and I do not know Charlotte's budget. I do not know what percentage annually of the $130 million and growing dollar annual hospitality tax collection will be earmarked every year to pay back the loan on building or renovating Bank of America Stadium. I also can say for certain, I don't know that the political leanings of any municipality matter, again, dating back to the most recent case that we have, which is Kansas City, where the Kansas City and Kansas legislature, which is largely bipartisan, hand in hand agreed to put together a package to try to lure the Chiefs and the Royals over the other side. Why would they do that? Because then all of the businesses that are benefited by having an NFL and an MLB team playing next door to each other are on the Kansas side, which means all that money comes out of the hands of fans and into the Kansas budget, not the Missouri budget. So it is one of those things where I understand that there are different politically philosophical leanings about whether this is the right decision or not, but 90% of these are going to almost always come down to, do we believe that this team will bring in more than they take out to renovate the stadium? And the answer in this one is, I don't have any clue.
No, they will not. I mean, if we go by recent, as far as the team goes, they make more money from people coming out of town to come to the stadium. I know you make money from concerts and things like that, but where are they going to go, Rob? I mean, who wants this team right now? They are my favorite team in the NFC. I am a Panther fan also. Where are they going? Where are they going? If he throws it out there, we'll move the team. Maybe some people will go, okay, what are you doing with the team now? They ain't won in forever. Go ahead and take them.
You and Diesel, in my opinion, make a mistake when it comes to these conversations, in that you attach the team's on the field record to the outcome, as opposed to looking at numbers and budget.
You were talking about revenue.
Correct.
Do you not? I'm not very smart. Do you not make more money when your stadium's full? Do you not make more money when you make more money when your stadium's full, right?
Yes, and here's the
When's
thing.
the last time that stadium was full?
When Dallas came through last year and packed it out. And do you know what all those Dallas fans bring? Dollar bills, y'all, that then they go into the city and they stay at hotels and they eat at restaurants and they do all the activities and the whatever, and it pumps money into the hospitality fund.
Then they play another team that's bad and it's just no, it's not going to pass. There's
Listen,
no way. No
if
way.
NFL teams weren't profitable, NFL owners wouldn't own teams. It really is. That is the simplest line of thought. If this wasn't a money-making endeavor, even when teams are bad, NFL owners, billionaires, hedge fund managers wouldn't own them.
All right. So according to what Joe says, all that money, that tax money would go towards doing that. You got to really love the team to want your tax money to do that. How many people love that team right now?
I think that, again, it is less about supporting the Carolina Panthers and more, what can we do to get people to come here and spend money? And an NFL team, even if you only fill the stadium halfway, brings people to your stadium. It also allows you to host Taylor Swift concerts. It also allows you to, fingers crossed, if you're David Tepper, host the Super Bowl down the line, which would bring millions and millions and millions in. There's a lot more than just, I need the Panthers to be 7-10 before I give money. No, I need concerts. I need bowl games. I need events. These all bring money, and that all go towards it. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
NASCAR Sunday in New Hampshire, Christopher Bell took the checkered flag, followed up by Chase Briscoe and Josh Berry. Kyle Larson ran fourth. Chris Buescher finished fifth. College World Series on Sunday.
Apparently, Diesel and I need our hearts blessed.
Bless your heart.
Trying to figure out if that's a convertible or if it's the top of that thing's painted black. The way the sun is on, I can't tell.
What, a Corvette?
Yeah.
No, it's black on top.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Maybe. I think it's a convertible.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. It's either convertible or it's a removable hardtop.
That could. Yeah, I guess they make those for that. I didn't think they made removables anymore.
I went to a garden party to reminisce with my old friend.
Just wondering if this would give me a clue of how to wear.
Last time I've heard this song. Play his songs again. Got to the garden.
I thought Mac
party.
Davis sang this. Maybe he just covered it.
All knew my name. No one recognized me. I didn't look the same, but it's all right now.
We're gonna get flagged. I
Lesson
don't
well.
want to get flagged for
You
this.
see, you can't please everyone, so you got to please yourself.
Sounds like a theme. Didn't realize that was Rick Nelson.
It is, and he is singing about a specific event.
Is he really?
He is. He is singing about playing his first show at Madison Square Garden when he wanted to play all the stuff that got him to Madison Square Garden, and everybody just wanted to hear his popular songs.
It sounds like any band out there.
Pretty much.
Just play the hits.
You got to please yourself. Biting da da da. Biting da da da.
So, what are the odds they play that? The DJ plays that song at the awards.
100%.
Are we going to pay attention this time to what our walk-up song is?
Are we going to say we are? Yes. Are we going to? Depends on whether we get called up first or second. 3 years now, I've said I'm going to request walk-up music. In 3 years, I have failed to do so.
I got to say, I've won a bunch of awards. I don't remember any of the songs. Just so hyped up about it that you don't even think about it. What would be our requested song? We say it every year and we don't do it.
Now I want Judgment Day song.
Why not?
Yeah. Last week, Major League Baseball played a game between the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants at historic Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Of course, the site of not just the oldest active ballpark in the United States, but also on top of that, a place that has been fully ingrained in the Negro Leagues for a century plus, right? So they had some of the Negro League icons out there, as well as some of the most recognizable and historic black players ever. Ken Griffey Jr. was there. Barry Bonds, obviously the godchild of Willie Mays, was there to celebrate, as this game took place just a day and a half after the passing of one of the greatest players of all time, Willie Mays. Well, Reggie Jackson was there. You may know Reggie Jackson as Mr. October. You got to be a bona fide G and a certified stud to have them say that you are Mr. an entire month. It's pretty impressive. And in a month that has all 31 days. Mr. this whole month. When you say this month in the land of sports, you're the guy that's Mr. that. When you say October, you think about Reggie Jackson, one of the greats, one of the all-timers as a member of the Kansas City and Oakland A's, the Baltimore Orioles, the New York Yankees, the California Angels, the Oakland A's again, a 14-time All-Star, a five-time World Series champ, the AL MVP from 1973, a two-time World Series MVP in 73 and 77, a two-time Silver Slugger Award winner, a four-time American League home run leader, an AL RBI leader in 73. He's had his number retired by two teams, the A's and the Yankees. Reggie Jackson got in with 94% of the Hall of Fame vote on his very first ballot. And I would also say anyone who did not vote Mr. October in on the first ballot is one of those jackasses who goes, nobody deserves to be in on the first ballot because it's a sacred Hall of Fame. Shut up, nerd. Shut up, nerd. Where's my daggum clip? Where is it? I need it. Nerd!
Go outside, nerd.
There it is. Well, Reggie Jackson also grew up in a home where his father played in the Negro Leagues and where he got his start playing. And before the game at Rickwood, Reggie Jackson told a story about growing up. I got an email last week, towards the end of the week, when I spent a couple of segments talking about that game. Not but a couple of weeks before that, I'd spent a handful of segments talking about how excited I was that the Negro League record books were being incorporated into Major League Baseball's record books. When I moved here, when I was a kid, I told this story, and I'll tell it again very quickly, nuts and bolts format. When I was a kid growing up, I had heard all about the great players, the Babe Ruth and the Lou Gehrig's, et cetera, the Ted Williams from back in the day. And Willie Mays was always in that group, to the point that I grew up largely thinking Willie Mays was a white guy. I did not know about the history of Willie Mays. And then my grandpa once said, Willie Mays was a black guy. He was a black guy. You need to learn about Willie Mays. And I did. And then when I moved here and I started diving more into the history of the Negro Leagues across the South, I got more and more intrigued. Somebody said, why are we spending so much time on this, Rob? Not in a negative way, not in like a don't do this way, just a question of genuine curiosity, which I appreciated. And my answer was because it was a pretty shameful era of baseball's history where a lot of great players were prevented from playing at the highest level because of their skin color and no other reason. And I heard a lot of people saying over the course of the last couple of weeks, oh, we're putting too much emphasis on it. It's over, right? It's over. There's no more segregation. We're over it. Yeah. I still think it's important to talk about. And Reggie sat there on the stage with Big Papi and Alex Rodriguez, and he told this story.
Alex, when people ask me a question like that, it's like coming back here is not easy. The racism that I played here, when I played here, the difficulty of going through different places where we traveled. Fortunately, I had a manager and I had players on the team that helped me get through it. But I wouldn't wish it on anybody. People said to me today, I spoke, and they said, you think you're a better person? You think you won when you played here in Concord? I said, I would never want to do it again. I walked into restaurants and they would point at me and said, can't eat here. I would go to a hotel and they say, then can't stay here. We went to Charlie Finley's country club for a welcome home dinner and they pointed me out with the N-word. He can't come in here. Finley marched the whole team out. Finally, they let me in there. He said, we're going to go to the diner and eat hamburgers. We'll go where we're wanted. Fortunately, I had a manager, Johnny McNamara, that if I couldn't eat in the place, nobody would eat. We'd get food to travel. If I couldn't stay in a hotel, they'd drive to the next hotel and find a place where I could stay. Had it not been for Raleigh Fingers, Johnny McNamara, Dave Duncan, Joe and Sharon Rudy, I slept on their couch 3-4 nights a week for about a month and a half. Finally, they were threatened that they would burn our apartment complex down unless I got out. I wouldn't wish it on any.
That's why. I think to celebrate players like Willie Mays, to celebrate players like Reggie Jackson, to celebrate players who went through an era of baseball that was nothing short of disgusting, filthy, gross, shameful, a dark, dark stain on a sport that we love. To celebrate the players who went through that, to celebrate the players and the managers and the fans and the coaches who helped them get through that when they were in the minority of people that wanted to accept that and continued to persevere in a way that brought us to where we are now, in a way that brought us to a spot where we can say baseball is for everybody. I think it deserves to be celebrated. I think Major League Baseball did a spectacular job putting it together. I think they did a spectacular job putting on a show, making it feel like it was actually a tribute. I thought they did a spectacular job having some of the legends of that day join in and get to be a part of a festivity because, frankly, in my opinion, those players are owed a lifetime's worth of apologies for what happened to them. That's not saying anybody alive today. Well, there are people alive today who were responsible for it. Let's be very clear. There's a lot of grandpappies out there that were responsible for what Reggie Jackson just talked about. But no one alive today was responsible for the actions of the people back then. However, it does not mean that an apology is not due to those players, the ones that are still with us and the ones that are not, especially as the ones that are with us are aging out of life. I think it is important that you have those moments to celebrate. I think it's important that you have those moments to apologize and to put those players on a pedestal for going through that crap so that we could get baseball to where it is today. And I will be thankful for that forever.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
Now I have to try to be funny. Thanks. The first thing that's axing is Jordan Love.
Jordan Love catching the trend today. It is because Green Bay Packer fans everywhere are seeing the drama around Jets camp and are going, thank goodness we don't have to put up with that guy. We've got our own all-star. It's Jordan Love.
Nah, that's not why he proposed to his girlfriend. It looks like in front of a castle. And I don't know if they have castles in Green Bay. They might. But you've never been there either.
I mean,
you don't
I
know.
haven't, and I'm not saying there's not like
a dude it might be in front of his house.
By the
His
way,
house might be a castle.
as an aside off of that. If there's a castle, it's a medieval times, and let me be abundantly clear: medieval times kicks ass. Dude.
Oh, I love medieval
It's
times.
awesome. It's
Yes.
awesome. Where else do I watch people actively, legitimately joust while drinking medieval ale from a mug and eating a turkey leg by hand? You want to feel like a dude? Hit a medieval time.
You can buy a horn now. I got one at home.
Even
the
better.
horn that you can drink out of. Last time I was there, the guy came out and asked me, "Why are you out here? You're supposed to be in the back."
Even better.
And we had a long conversation. My wife just looked at. She's like, "Did you know?" No, I don't know.
That would have been
guy."
the best
Yeah.
compliment of my life.
Yes, it was. Oh, it was. That's why I will never forget it.
Yeah.
The next thing that's Xing is Dave Grohl.
I do know why Dave Grohl is Xing. Dave Grohl is Xing. Okay, so there's a lot of drama here. Sip the tea. Hang out with me. A couple of weeks ago, there's a big hit on Taylor Swift right now because Taylor Swift's out there pushing for global climate change. Good. But also, she logs more miles in her private jet than like every other person in America combined. Is pretty ridiculous. Well, Dave Grohl's daughter put out a tweet that said, why can't she just drive like everybody else does? Taylor Swift, the Swifties, then fired back at Grohl's daughter. Well, Grohl on stage at a concert yesterday got on the mic and talked about Tay-Tay. He said she's calling her tour the Eras Tour. We call ours the Errors Tour because we make a lot of errors, right? Especially because we play our music live, effectively insinuating that Taylor's band and Tay-Tay are backtracking their concerts. And let me just go on and be very, very clear that while I am not anti-Tay-Tay, if I've got to pick a side between Taylor and Dave Grohl, I'm going with America's sweetheart, Dave Grohl.
This is shocking because I thought you would be on Taylor
No.
Swift's side.
Dave Grohl has been in not one but two legendary bands. Dave Grohl has been in 1,000 side project bands, which are better than anything your favorite band has ever put out. He has been doing it for 30 plus years and is a phenomenal human being with his philanthropic change that he has been making around the country. Dave Grohl is an American rock and roll God, and I'm Team Tay-Tay, all right? But I'm going to tell you straight up, if you make me pick between the drummer from Nirvana and the frontman of the Foo Fighters or Taylor Swift, I'm throwing up the horns and rocking with Grohl every damn time. America.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, can you believe this? Go, USA! By the way, that little buzz you hear in the background, right? You hear that buzz?
Oh, can you believe this?
Yeah.
Go, USA!
That's not interference. That was the Vuvuzelas that year overpowering the microphones on the field.
Okay, the last thing that's Xing is Blazing Saddles.
You know, I came home Saturday. I came home Saturday. I got off the air Saturday, and I caught the fiance watching a Gene Wilder documentary, and I don't think I've been in that in love in a very long time.
From what I could tell, it's trending for a lot of reasons, but some teenage boys decided to recreate the bean scene.
Yes. Yeah. Those kids and Dave Grohl, today's heroes of the day. You guys have a great rest of your Monday. Enjoy Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Game 3 of the College World Series. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And then whatever other dumb stuff we get into. Lonzo, Rob, the thrice nominated Sports Talk Show of the Year. The Rob Brown Show is back tomorrow on the Fan Upstate later. Yeah!
What are you doing, man?
Just extending the break a little bit.
Dude, what are you extending? Because, yeah, okay. We're probably good, but still,
I'm just making sure. I wanted to make sure we didn't short ourselves.
you just wanted to see the panic in my eyes. It's not really panic. It's more like anger. I don't know.
Anger.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Noted.
I am a person who follows all the rules.
For sure.
Yeah, and I would like to
You're the only one on the station that follows all the rules.
Yeah, that's true.
I know.
Someone has to
Steven, thank you,
be the
buddy.
voice of reason, all that stuff.
You're an icon. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. All right, boys and girls, we got to go add numbers and stuff. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks for being here. Tell your friends about us. Help us grow the show. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
And stuff.
And stuff. Goodbye.